It is 10 o'clock on a football Friday night. This is high school football, Alabama's After the Game. Jon Holder and our entire hard-working After the Game crew here with you all the way until midnight tonight as we cover the second round of the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs presented by the Calhoun County Commission. It is upset city tonight, folks. I cannot remember a second round where we have had more, not just upsets, but monumental upsets. Number one teams that were favored to win state championships that are gone tonight. A lot of big games in East Alabama, a lot of big games around the state. We've got all the final scores, the brackets, everything you need to know about the second round of the AHSAA State Football Playoffs is right here. If you're coming back from games anywhere in the state of Alabama, Piedmont fans, Anniston fans that are coming back, you keep it right here. Just kick it in. Leave it there all night long. This is where you need to be for your high school football information. Right now, we're going to catch you up on all of our local scores as we take you to our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. The Piedmont Bulldogs, defending state champions, number 3 in the state in Class 3A. Tonight on the road, playing in Northwest Alabama, about 3 hours away at Manley Stadium, one of the toughest places to play, one of the legendary venues in all of high school football in Leeton, Alabama. Piedmont cruising tonight as the Bulldogs win 42-20 over the Colbert County Indians. Piedmont moving into the quarterfinals. They'll be back at home next week at the Field of Champions in Piedmont, taking on the Gordo Green Wave from West Alabama. Also tonight, another Calhoun County team that won. Number 2 in 4A, Anniston, remains undefeated. The Bulldogs playing in Tuskegee tonight. Booker T. Washington won their first ever playoff game in school history last week. But tonight, the Anniston Bulldogs come in and they take care of business on the road as they beat Booker T. Washington 38-20. Anniston also will be returning back home next week. They will be at Lot Mosby Memorial Stadium in Anniston hosting Andalusia, a dynamite matchup in the 4A quarterfinals next Friday night. The other team from Calhoun County, not so good news for the Jacksonville Golden Eagles tonight. We will have highlights of this game from Golden Eagle Stadium. Jacksonville was the underdog, even though ranked number 9 in the state. They had number 1 Montgomery Catholic coming in, the team that led the state in scoring, led the state in scoring differential. They were one of the top 6 teams in the state in defense. This is in all classifications. They showed why tonight. Montgomery Catholic beating Jacksonville 44-27. But I'll tell you, Jacksonville had really great opportunities to take control of this game early. They were denied twice inside the red zone. Could have been a totally different game, but Montgomery Catholic comes in and they win at Jacksonville 44-27. Highlights of that game coming on After the Game. As we stay in Class 4A Region 4, this was really the matchup tonight down at Bruton Municipal Stadium. Number 6 T.R. Miller hosting number 4 Hanley. Hanley goes in and they win. Larry Strain and the Tigers winning in a battle of Tigers in Bruton tonight, 27-14. Hanley now gets that Catholic of Montgomery team, and they'll have to travel to Montgomery next Friday night to take on the Knights in the Class 4A quarterfinals. Also this evening, a tough loss for Central of Clay County. We will have highlights of this game. We were at Volunteer Stadium in Clay County tonight. This was a back-and-forth game, but Gulf Shores, number 5 in the state, now 11-1. Ronnie Royal, the former Alexandria star, now playing for the Dolphins. They come in and they win the game, snatching it away late to beat Central of Clay County 26-21. Highlights of that game from Volunteer Stadium. Another team from East Alabama that was on the road a long way away from home, the B.B. Comer Tigers in Class 2A. Ranked number 6, they traveled all the way to Wicksburg down in Houston County over in the Dothan metro area. Wicksburg tonight put up a tough fight, but B.B. Comer wins the game. Comer 22, Wicksburg 14. B.B. Comer returns home next week. They'll be at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga playing host to the Reeltown Rebels. A fantastic quarterfinal round matchup in Class 2A next Friday night in Sylacauga. We talked about shockers. Here's one of the surprises. Number 6 Moody. Their only loss was by a single point on a missed extra point to Leeds. Tonight, Moody goes on the road to Arab, and Lee Osmith, the former Glencoe head coach, the former defensive coordinator for the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Arab pulls away the biggest win in school history in the biggest season in school history. The Arab Knights have never been to the quarterfinals. They've never won 11 games, but now they have. Arab beats Moody tonight 42-20 up at Arab in Marshall County this evening. Also tonight, the Cherokee County Warriors will have highlights of this game from center from Bobby Joe Johnson Field. Number 10 ranked Warriors taking care of business tonight over West Morgan. They beat the Rebels tonight 42-28. Highlights of that game. The principal at Cherokee County High School, Bobby Tittle, will join us live to talk about the playoff perspective from a principal and administrative standpoint. Should be interesting. He'll be joining us and also have some details about that game from center tonight in the Class 4A second round. Cherokee County goes to Randolph next Friday night. This was a major upset. We'll have highlights of this game from Jason Howard Field at Spring Garden. Spring Garden, number 5 in the state in 1A. They had beaten Coosa the first time around back in week 2 in Gadsden on their home field, 27-0. Tonight, Coosa Christian comes in. They were down 14-0. They were down 28-14. They scored the last 17 of the game. Coosa Christian with the biggest win in school history. We said that about Arab. We're saying that about Coosa. Coosa, for the first time ever, is in the state quarterfinals. They'll be at home next week at Philip Ellen Field in Gadsden, playing host to Lynn. Coosa Christian scores a field goal at the end of the game in the last few seconds to knock off Spring Garden 31-28. Huge win for Coosa Christian tonight. As we said, highlights of that game coming from out at Spring Garden. We'll also have highlights of this game from Titan Stadium. Number 7 in 6A Mountain Brook having no problem with the Gadsden City Titans tonight. Mountain Brook improves to 10-2 as they beat the Titans 37-6 at Titan Stadium. Highlights of that game coming on after the game. And one more game involving teams here in East Alabama, the Etowah Blue Devils. They dug a big hole early up at Howard Chapel Stadium in Tuscumbia. Deschler remains undefeated. They hang on. Etowah came back. Very valiant. Great effort by Etowah as they really came back and made this thing close. But in the end, it was Deschler knocking off Etowah, ending the Blue Devils season 36-33, the final score in that game tonight from up in Northwest Alabama at Tuscumbia. If you are looking for a used car, you have to look no further than South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. Pee Wee Turner Motors, proud sponsors of High School Football Alabama after the game. They've been with us since the beginning. Check them out, peeweeturnermotors.net. You can call them 237-4649. Best thing to do is go see Lance, Tara, all the crew at Pee Wee Turner Motors at their lot down on South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. They have been in the used car business here in East Alabama for over 50 years, since 1969. They have the largest selection and the best selection of used cars in East Alabama. Pee Wee Turner Motors. Check them out at peeweeturnermotors.net. When we come back, scores, highlights, and brackets, and we will introduce to you the Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship winners. That's next on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did. When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
The Oxford Festival of Lights, let me just tell you that is starting, believe it or not, folks, early this year down at Choccolocco Park in Oxford. That is actually going to begin 1 week from tonight. Next Friday night, you can take the kids and grandkids and everybody and go down to Choccolocco Park. It is one price per carload, and Santa's Village will be open. They'll have the outdoor skating rink going on, large inflatables for the kids, food trucks. Visit Santa Claus, have your picture made with him. It is that time of year, believe it or not. Next week it's going to turn cold, so it's going to be cold next Friday night, and you can go out and enjoy all the festivities at Santa's Village and at the Festival of Lights presented by the City of Oxford, and that is going to be a fantastic time. They will be open, by the way, all the way from next Friday night until December 24th, and that will be every night that they will be open from 5 until 10 p.m. You can go and get your tickets. There'll be discounted tickets for different things throughout the next month or so as we make our way to the holidays. oxfordlights.com for our Festival of Lights. I think we're going to talk about our social media platforms. This is where you can check us out with everything going on with High School Football Alabama. First, highschoolfootballalabama.com. We've got a lot of old shows there, even from past years, archived there. A lot of great information about High School Football Alabama and the show at highschoolfootballalabama.com. Also, you can go to YouTube. You can search High School Football Alabama. You can search After the Game. You can even search Jon Holder. That's John with an out an H, Jon. Holder. You can search that. Will come up. You can watch the show there live. And also on Facebook at High School Football Alabama. Also at our Facebook page. That is where you can catch up with a lot of things going on with our show here during the week. Our award winners, guests that are coming up. You'll be the first to know that. Tonight we had a live shot from up in Jacksonville. You'll be able to see those kind of things. And you can vote in our very many contests that we have throughout the year, including our Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship Contest. We've been having voting going on all season long, all the way going back to September. And tonight is a very special night here on Veterans Day as we're going to bring you the award winners. We have Matt Whitaker with us here from Farmers and Merchants Bank. Matt, glad to have you with us tonight to make these presentations. Before we introduce who these folks are, you see the big checks here. Thank you to Farmers and Merchants Bank for what you do for our community. And I think, what, $20,000 or $25,000 just in recent years in scholarship money, all right here in the local Calhoun County area.
Yes, sir. We appreciate the opportunity, John. Thankful that we're able to give back to the community where we live, where we work. Farmers and Merchants Bank has been in business for over 100 years, so we're proud of that and just feel like it's our duty to give back to the community. We appreciate that.
Absolutely, and this has been a great thing. We've been partners since the very beginning. This is our 3rd year. One of the things I like about it is we've had 6 potential winners in 3 years, and we had 6 different schools that have been represented.
It's fantastic that you can, utilize each of those communities that they can benefit from those scholarship dollars. This is
basically it's who turns out the votes, just like the election that we had on Tuesday. Who turns out the vote? We had voting. We started off with 60 student athletes from all the schools in Calhoun County, and we also had Spring Garden involved with this. So we started off with 60, then we narrowed it down to 30. The top 30, Matt, are going to get a $50 Visa gift card as well, also.
Yes, sir, to be used for whatever they would like.
And then the top 2 get a $1,500 apiece scholarship. And you, the voters out there, are fans of High School Football Alabama after the game. You voted for about 10 days. It was 10 days of voting, and it was intense. As a matter of fact, on the girls' side, we have a male winner and a female winner. On the girls' side, it came down to the last 30 minutes. We had a lot of interest in this. Thousands and thousands of votes being registered across East Alabama. So not only Farmers and Merchants Bank involved in the community, but also our folks are plugged in. Our local schools are plugged in to our young people as well.
They are. And Joel, I believe, had over 1,100 actually. So that's fantastic. So the awareness it brings and being able to, like I said, give back to the community is something we're very proud of.
I know you are. I've sat in meetings with the folks at Farmers and Merchants Bank, and we've talked about this, but just the heart that Farmers and Merchants has. There's no strings attached to this whatsoever. This is just the desire by you guys at Farmers and Merchants Bank to, one, recognize and honor student athletes and to give money. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as what we do.
Yes, sir. We're happy to do it.
Let's talk about our winners here. We want to introduce, ladies first here on After the Game. Joelle Tillery is a senior at Faith Christian School in Anniston. Very small school, but as Matt pointed out, got out the vote with over 1,100 votes and likes on our Facebook page at High School Football Alabama. She gets a $1,500 scholarship. Joelle, congratulations. She's a basketball player at Faith. And I think, 4.64, something like that? 4.15, is that right?
Yes.
GPA. So obviously she's a great basketball player. If you've never seen her play, she's a great basketball player. That's starting. Go out and watch Faith play. And she's also obviously a great student. Joelle, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
And also on the male side of things, we got one of these big, tough football players for the Oxford High School Yellow Jackets, Curtis Sanders. Curtis, congratulations. You're our male winner.
Thank you.
And he had a number of votes there. The Oxford people really turned out for him as well. And you got over a 4.0 GPA as well?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great football player down there for Coach Sam Adams and the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Congratulations. These folks, in just about 9 months, I've got a senior in high school, so I know how close it's coming. In just 9 months, they'll be moving on to college, and this will help them out tremendously to pay those ever-rising college costs and expenses. Curtis, congratulations. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Joelle, thank you. Congratulations on being here. And Matt, thank you so much for coming and presenting this money to all of our great student athletes here in East Alabama. When we come back, we're going to have highlights, scores, brackets. We're with you all the way until 12 midnight on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement, with physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Anniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Anniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Anniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.annistonortho.com. Anniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team One Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
We are back on High School Football Alabama after the game presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Time to go back to our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. Give you all the final scores of the games involving teams here in East Alabama. We know a lot of folks are just getting out of the games, getting in your cars. We want to get you all those finals. Number 3, Piedmont tonight on the road in Leeton. They beat Colbert County 42-20 tonight. Also this evening, it was the Anniston Bulldogs. They were winners. Number 2 team in 4A playing in Tuskegee against Booker T. Washington. They beat the Eagles tonight. 38-20 was the final. Speaking of Eagles, the Jacksonville Golden Eagles, a valiant effort tonight. They played a great game, but number 1 Montgomery Catholic, they were the real deal. We're going to have highlights of this game coming. Montgomery Catholic beating Jacksonville 44-27 at Golden Eagle Stadium. Another team out of 4A Region 4 that won tonight. Hanley wins at T.R. Miller 27-14. Big win for Larry Strain and the Tigers tonight down at Bruton Municipal Stadium. Also this evening, a tough loss for Central of Clay County. We will have highlights of this game from Volunteer Stadium. Gulf Shores tonight, number 5 in 5A, scores late to beat Central of Clay County 26-21. BB Comer, another team that was on the road a long way away. They go down to the Florida border to Houston County and beat Wicksburg 22-14 to win tonight and move to the quarterfinals in Class 2A. One of the shockers, maybe not a shocker that Arab beat Moody, but Arab dominated Moody, especially in the second half as they beat the Blue Devils 42-20 tonight up in Marshall County at Arab. The Cherokee County Warriors tonight, they continue to roll. Jacob Kelly and his team winning over West Morgan 42-28. We will have highlights of that game from Bobby Joe Johnson Field in center. Tonight, great game. We'll have highlights of this one. Spring Garden was up by 14 on 2 different occasions. They had beaten Coosa Christian 27-0 in the regular season. But tonight, Coosa Christian kicks a last-second field goal. They've got a great kicker. They beat Spring Garden tonight. Huge upset. Coosa Christian, biggest win in school history, beating number 5 Spring Garden 31-28 tonight at the Garden. Highlights of that game on the way. Also tonight, we'll have highlights of this game. Mountain Brook comes into Titan Stadium in Gadsden. They beat Gadsden City 37-6 the final. And a tough loss for the Etowah Blue Devils. This was a game that came right down to the wire, but number 7 Deschler remains undefeated at Howard Chapel Stadium in Tuscumbia tonight, where it was Deschler beating Etowah 36-33, the final in that game. Back here now on After the Game, and we're joined for the first time this evening by Gerhard Mathangani and the coach Michael Short. We're going to begin with our highlights tonight as we go and take a look at our Red Threads highlights with Spring Garden and Coosa Christian. We've talked a lot about this game. People may be saying, John's making some bold statements tonight. He's talking about these are the biggest wins in school history. Well, there's no question, this is the biggest win in Coosa Christian history. Now, I know back when they played 8-man football and Christian man football back in the 70s and 80s, they won national championships and they won state championships. But now that they've been here with the big boys in the AHSAA, by far, they had never won a playoff game until last week. Now they've won 2 playoff games, guys, and now they're in the state quarterfinals, and they beat the number 5 team in the state on their home field, a team that beat them 27-0 on their home field at Coosa Christian during the regular season. I don't think we can understate how big this win was for Mark O'Brien and Coosa Christian.
Yeah, and I'll harken back to something that I said last week, that Coosa Christian, their record will not impress you at all. Reason being, because they played really tough teams in the regular season. The reason why they did that is to make themselves ready for a possible second-round matchup, and they got it here today. And Coach, is one of those things you talk about scheduling all the time, because as a coach, you know from a scheduling perspective, you need to be able to get your team ready, not beat them up too much, but get them ready for big playoff games.
Yeah, and I keep going back to the Gatlinburg-Pittman game. They played somebody that was just faster than they were.
Right.
And you have to, and we've seen the game tonight where first couple of plays in the game. Speed makes a difference, and then all of a sudden you get locked in, and it's not that big a difference. But I think what we're going to see here in this game is the kicking game came down to a big difference. We said that each week. I said it last week. Kicking game is going to win ball games for you in the playoffs.
And Gerhard, as we go to the highlights, when we were there early at Spring Garden tonight, it was all Spring Garden. That's what you're going to see in the highlights. The Coosa folks might be a little disappointed going, hey, we won the game, where's all the highlights? But early on, it was all Spring Garden.
That's exactly right. Let's go out to Cherokee County. You know, today is 11-11. You talk about repeating numbers. Well, it was 77 days ago when these two teams met. Spring Garden knocked off Coosa Christian, as we said, 27-0 back on August the 28th. These two teams meeting up once again on Veterans Day, and you'll see a lot of veterans celebrations at different stadiums, high school football doing it well. Spring Garden got off to a great start here. This is Chapel Pope. Big 34-yard run here down the sidelines. We knew, Coach, you talked about it last week, Spring Garden was going to run the football. They got off to a great start here. However, the ball fumbled here by Cam Welch, recovered by Vincent Dupree of Coosa Christian. That's huge. Kept a 0 on the scoreboard for that possession. Spring Garden's next possession, Pope, a nice 9-yard run right here. A little bit later on, it is Pope on the pass and Braxton Haney on the reception. 55 yards later, it's a touchdown on the first points of the game. PAT is good. An early 7-0 lead for Spring Garden. Ensuing Conqueror's possession. Trouble here because Johnny on the spot from Spring Garden. It is Reese Winstead with the interception. Takes it back to the Coosa Christian 34-yard line. And then the Garden facing 4th down and 5. Jason Howard going for it. Gets the first down here on the nice play from Welsh over to Cam Welsh as well for that first down. A little bit later on, it is Pope just muscling his way into the end zone. How he got in, I have no idea, but it's into the end zone for the touchdown. 18-yard run right there. PAT is good. The highlights are deceiving, boys, because a 14-0 lead as we left, but it's Coosa Christian that gets the win, 31-28, your final score. And I want to say it's harder to beat a team the second time around, and Coosa Christian proved it today.
Spring Garden had multiple 14-point leads in this game. I believe they were up 28-14 at one point, and Coosa Christian scored the last 17 of the game. So all the credit in the world to Mark O'Brien and Coosa Christian. You know, guys, we were opening week Thursday night. We were at Coosa watching Coosa play Geraldine. Right. Geraldine, as we're seeing tonight, as you'll see in the 3A, they're a really good 3A football team because they beat Mars Hill tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on. But, Coach, we saw them, and we made the comment that this, as far as talent goes, this is as good as talent as you're going to see in Class 1A football. That was pretty prophetic because now Coosa's in the top 8 teams in the state.
Well, when you watch them get off the bus, they stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you see them, they stand out as far as players is concerned. And they've gotten better each week. And a lot of that has to do with the competition they've played because when they're practicing in 1A, you just don't have a lot of people where you can get a lot of, against each other. So their schedule has what's helped them to get to where they're at. But the pressure is going to mount each week. Yeah. Because now you go a little bit deeper in the playoffs. And so every step they take is somewhere they've never been.
One of the things, too, Coach, that we noticed over there, guys, at Coosa that night was we had been to Etowah. We came into Philip Ellen Field there at Coosa, and the second half kickoff, Coosa Christian kicked it out of the end zone. And we talked with Coach O'Brien on the show the next night, and we talked about he felt like he had one of the top kickers in this state. That paid off tonight, as you alluded to, Coach, because they win with a last-second field goal to win the game.
Well, when you don't when it gets down to the end and you don't have to score a touchdown and you can get close, I actually saw that tonight in another ball game we saw. Right. That kickers make a difference, and I've already seen on film and another game I was at tonight witnessed the kickers made the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, and especially when the margins are very, very small, touchbacks and punts that flip the field, as well as field goals, as we saw earlier, those make a huge difference. Sometimes they can, be in the periphery of your consciousness in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they can win and lose games.
And you have, and we got to give Spring Garden credit too for the year they've had.
Oh,
what
100%.
Coach Howard has
Yeah.
done out there at Spring Garden. We mentioned it last week.
Yep.
He changed the culture of football and didn't mess with the other cultures.
Right.
So you have to give them all the credit in the world again. They had another great season, and you expect them with a young team to be right back here again next year.
Coach Howard was concerned. I talked with him over the summer about how young his team was and inexperienced because he lost a lot of experience and talent off the team last year. Lost a lot of numbers.
Right.
Last year they probably had 50 kids dressed out. This year maybe 30, something like that on the team. So depth was an issue, experience was an issue. Just having upperclassmen, not a whole lot of those on the team. But this Coosa team, looking at their roster tonight, they only got 6 seniors on the team.
Right.
So they're going to be heard from too. And speaking of next week, they have Lynn coming in. Lynn won tonight. They're a team that we've been watching over in Northwest Alabama. They are now 11-1, but they've come to Gadsden. And right now, Coosa Christian's thinking, hey, people are talking about maybe Spring Garden going to the Super 7. We hung with them and beat them. So, hey, the North is wide open, I think, in Class 1A. Coosa's got as good a shot as anybody.
It is, and they'll have to be prepared next week because it's going to be a quarterfinal game for the crowd. Everybody pretty much around them now is finished.
Yes.
So all the people want to go somewhere to play. Everybody in Etowah County, there's where you're going to go. So they got to be ready to play in front of probably the biggest crowd they've ever played in front of also. So they're going to have to mentally get prepared for that.
Let's take you now to our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets for the first time tonight as we take a look at that Class 1A bracket, and you will see there that Leroy tonight beat Maplesville 33-8. This first bottom half of the 1A bracket in South Alabama, unbelievable the amount of tradition and teams and powerhouses. Look at these 4 right here. Leroy dropping down from 2A, beat Maplesville 33-8 tonight at Maplesville. Meanwhile, it was Brantley beating Linden. A lot of folks thought that Linden might win the thing coming out of the South. Brantley beats them tonight by a score of 27-12. So we've got Leroy and Brantley next week, guys that are going to play at Leroy. That is a marquee matchup, guys.
And every one of those two right there, Leroy and Brantley, when they get off the bus, everybody will look good getting off of that bus.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And when we talk about just the South and the power that it has, I honestly think pound for pound, 1A might be the best of all the classifications. When we talk about 4A is really good, 5A is really good, I'll tell you what, 1A South is just, there's some monsters down there.
In the South, look at that quarterfinal round matchup. Brantley, number 2 in the final poll, 10-2. Leroy, 10-1, ranked number 6. Now, we go back and look at these teams. Elba and Sweetwater tonight, huge teams that have won state championships before. Elba moving down from 2A like Leroy did. Sweetwater, the defending state champion, people kind of had counted them out because they had a couple of losses. Sweetwater goes into Elba tonight. They beat the number 1 ranked Tigers. Elba was undefeated, 11-0. Sweetwater knocks them out 27-20. Milry in a Thursday night game pounded Lochapoka. Last year they beat Lochapoka in the first round of the playoffs 28-8. Last night, 63-12 over a very talented Indian team. So next week, it will be Sweetwater and Milry playing each other. That game will be at Sweetwater at Nolan Atkins Stadium. Sweetwater number 9 in the final poll, Milry number 4. Sweetwater is now 9-2. Milry goes to 11-1. Now we come into North Alabama in Class 1A, and I have been telling folks all year long not to count out Pickens County. The road for the last several years in Class 1A football has gone through reform, and it's going through reform again. Pickens County tonight, Meek was undefeated, 11-0, playing at home in Arley. Pickens County goes in, the Tornadoes, and win it 44-36. Pickens County now goes to 9-3. They will have a rematch with Marion County of Guin. They're from the same region. Marion County beat Valley Head tonight. That was a bit of an upset as well, as Marion County wins the game 27-6. So next week, Pickens County and Marion County in a rematch. That will be at Reform. Pickens County won the game in the regular season, and they will now be hosting the rematch. Pickens County 9-3. Marion County also comes in at 9-3. And finally, the matchup that we've been talking about, Coosa Christian beats Spring Garden 31-28. Lynn all over Addison tonight, 41-14. So next week it will be Lynn traveling into Gadsden to take on Coosa Christian. Lynn is now 11-1. Coosa Christian goes to and 4, and that is your Class 1A quarterfinals in our Festival of Lights, our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets. Speaking of Oxford, let's talk about Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware. 4 locations to serve you not only in Oxford, but also Jacksonville, Talladega, and in Roanoke with their home center. Let me just tell you, they are your locally owned home for the best brands. They have Benjamin Moore Paint, Traeger Grills, Yeti Products, Craftsman Tools, Weather Shield Windows, the Big Green Egg, the Ego battery powered equipment, the Yellow Wood treated wood, steel power equipment, Milwaukee Tools. They got all the name brands, the best, all across East Alabama, Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, and Roanoke. Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware bringing you our scoreboard here on High School Football Alabama after the game. Our first extra point of the night is coming up. Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden bringing you our extra points. I'm excited to tell you this. Hope's Bluff head coach Mike Robertson was selected for induction into the AHSAA High School Sports Hall of Fame this week. He coached girls basketball for 23 years, baseball for 13 years, and has been the head football coach for the Eagles since 1996, compiling a 174-127 record with 15 teams reaching the state playoffs in his 27-year tenure. His 2001 squad, of course, finished 13-2 and won the Class 3A state title. He's also the school's athletics director, runs the swimming pool during the summer. I'll throw that in. Hope's Bluff honored him in 2018 by naming the school's football stadium in his honor, and he was inducted into the Etowah County Sports Hall of Fame in 2016. Now he's going to the High School Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Coach Rob. Back with more of After the Game in a moment.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, or Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
High School Football Alabama after the game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Let's tell you about Ted's Carpet and Floor. We're going to tell you about our Team of the Year voting. Ted's jumped on board with us this year to bring you our Team of the Week, and they're also going to bring you our Team of the Year. Ted's Carpet and Floor, Coach knows about them. I know about them. Gerhard one day will know about them.
Yep.
because they are the best carpet and floor source here in East Alabama. It doesn't matter if you're looking for hardwoods, carpet, whatever it is. There's no other place to go than Ted's Carpet and Floor. They come out and do free estimates. They'll measure it for you. Great people there. They have a brand new website that you can go and check out. Ted's Carpet and Floor. The Ted's cheerleaders, by the way, guys, are going to be with us live in studio.
Nice.
Next Friday night, so get ready for that. Ted's Carpet and Floor bringing you our Team of the Week and also our Team of the Year. And speaking of Team of the Year, here are the nominees. You can go right now. They have been voting. We were over 36,000 people that have been reached and have thousands of people voting on our Team of the Year. Here are the team. All you have to do is go to High School Football Alabama on Facebook and like the logo of the team that you want to vote for Team of the Year. We're going to keep this open until Monday at noon. So you got the weekend and half the day on Monday. The Donahoe Falcons, Cherokee County Warriors, Central Clay County Volunteers, the Anniston Bulldogs, Sacs Wildcats, Etowah Blue Devils, the Ohatchee Indians, Alexandria Valley Cubs, Spring Garden Panthers, Oxford Yellow Jackets, and the Hoax Bluff Eagles. Those are your choices. We've had some people making comments going, well, you don't have all the teams on there. You don't have your missing teams. Well, you had to be our Team of the Year to qualify for a voting for, I should say Team of the Week, to qualify for a voting of Team of the Year. So if you are not one of our Ted's Team of the Weeks, then you're not eligible for Team of the Year. By the way, our director, Jordan Smith, tells me that Central of Clay County is in the lead right now as we head down the home stretch. They've already had 1,200 plus votes for the Volunteers. So all you folks from Center and Alexandria and other places better get to work this weekend in voting. We'll announce the winner coming up here with the Ted's Cheerleaders next Friday night here on High School Football Alabama after the game. Back here with Gerhard Mathangani, the coach Michael Short. We're also going to bring in for this segment, we got a very special guest, Mark Everett Kelly from East Alabama Sports Today, going to talk about a special presentation he has. If you're an Alabama and Auburn fan, and who's not, you're one of the two in this state, you'll be interested in this coming up. But we were also hanging out at the Jacksonville Catholic game tonight. One point we need to make about this, Catholic wins the game, #1 team in the state, Golden Eagle Stadium tonight in the 4A playoffs. But Catholic came in and Jacksonville had 2 opportunities early in the game inside of the red zone. Right. One time at the 1-yard line, did not convert, came away with no points in that. That was a huge factor in this game. Jacksonville scored more points on Montgomery Catholic than they've given up to any team this year with their 27. So an impressive performance by Jacksonville. This could have been, we've been talking about all these upsets tonight. This could have been one of those. Jacksonville played very well tonight. Let's give you some highlights from Golden Eagle Stadium.
Yeah, one of the things about Mark, who's in tonight, he's a former researcher, an ESPN researcher, researches baseball. Coach, one of the big stats that separates baseball teams is scoring difference. How about this scoring difference tonight for Catholic Montgomery? I wrote this down. 609-53. That was the scoring difference. That's how dominant this team has been all year long. But as John said, Jacksonville gave them a nice run. We will pick this game up with 0.2 seconds to go in the first half. The very first play will be a field goal here. One of the state's best kickers, Gabe Russo. 42 yards, and Coach talk about it all the time, how big kicking is in the playoffs. This field goal was huge. Made it 23-7. That is your score at the half. We pick it up here with second half action. This is Jeremiah Cobb. Recruiting folks know him. He's the state's best running back. As of right now, going to Auburn, 12-yard big run here for Cobb. He certainly looks the part here. Then a little bit later on, it's Caleb McCreary, a little pop pass here to Luke Harkless. McCreary will get the passing yards for it, but it's Harkless that did everything here. 26-yard touchdown, and is now 30-7, Catholic Montgomery with the lead. But Jacksonville does find some life a little bit later on that third quarter. This is Jim Ogle to Luke Pridgeon. Pridgeon here goes for 18 yards and a big first down here to keep the chains moving. A little bit later on the drive, Ogle hits Kedrick Fisher. Always really shifty. He always shows up on our highlights. He's a really solid weapon there for Ogle, and that offense for the Golden Eagles. Once again, Pridgeon again, 21 yards on that catch, and then back to Fisher. It's just go to one, then go to the other, but this time Fisher makes it count for points. Touchdown here on the 20-yard reception, and the PAT was good after that. Made it 30-13. As John said, there's 27 points, the most that Catholic Montgomery has given up. So obviously a great season overall. Nothing to be ashamed about losing to the #1 team in the state, but it is Catholic Montgomery getting the win today, 44-27 the final.
Want to go to Mark Everett Kelly here. Mark, you were there for the whole game, covering the game tonight for East Alabama Sports Today. I guess they'll read your story coming up tomorrow on the website.
Actually, Al was good to do the story because he was there as well. I was just there kind of helping.
You just helping out. Well, Mark, you were there for the whole game. So kind of tell us what happened there in that first quarter. Jacksonville was toe-to-toe. Jacksonville had their chances to take kind of control of this game, or at least to keep it even there in the first half. Tell us about how Jacksonville, I understand, was very impressive, especially the first 2 drives of the game.
Yeah, the first drive of the game they got stopped, and then they stopped Montgomery Christian on their first drive. So they got the ball back and they went down the field, but they got stopped at the second and goal at the 1 yard line, couldn't get it in. Then Montgomery wound up going down and scoring, and then Jacksonville again drove. They had 3 drives of over 70 yards. In the first half, they only scored a touchdown. One of them, they missed a field goal on the other drive. So they were moving the ball consistently against them. Ogle was very good. Fisher is an excellent wide receiver. He has great hands, and he makes acrobatic catches. All year he's done that because I've seen him play a couple times. And Ogle he can keep plays alive. He's got a rocket arm. And no matter where he's going, whether he's backing up, whether he's on the run, reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers, actually. I know Aaron Rodgers better outside of the pocket. Ogle can be anywhere. Kept them in the game, and even though they just didn't have the size or the speed on defense, Cobb just ate them alive. They had their shots in the first half to make this a game and even be tied almost at the half.
Well, my buddy Ryan Brown from the Round Table was there, a good friend of ours, a buddy of mine for a long, long time, doing high school football. He joined me on the sidelines, and we were talking about Jim Ogle, and he had not seen Ogle play in person, and we were just talking about and commenting about how the accuracy of Jim Ogle and some of the passes we saw in that last drive he made there, the accuracy. One of the things, Ryan and I were talking about is the fact that, you see quarterbacks in high school that can run, you see that can throw, but it's very rare that you see one that can run and throw and do it accurately like Jim Ogle does.
Yep, and he puts very nice touch on his passes. He's very accurate, and he can throw from anywhere. It's not like you can force him out of the pocket and then he's going to have to, throw a mess backing up. This guy has a rocket arm. Even backing up, he can throw and hit his receivers with precision accuracy. And their opponents, I mean, they had scored 11 straight games, scoring 40 or more points. They extend that. 23 or 25, I think overall they had won 15 straight road games. So this is an excellent team. And I think the final score in the last 3 second-round games, they outscored opponents something like 79-6.
Yep.
So they played them real tight, 44-27. When you consider Jacksonville's problem all year was not being able to stop teams. They could score on anybody. They just couldn't consistently stop teams, and that's eventually what cost them today.
And the thing about the Jacksonville team is that there's no quit in this team whatsoever. And I was talking with, I guess we could say this now since the season's over, but Jim Ogle, offensive line coach Jimmy Ogle for Jacksonville, was telling me at halftime that Jim was actually playing hurt. He really got hurt, pretty significant injury last week to his leg, and so he was playing in a lot of pain tonight and still had that kind of a performance. I would say, Coach, you and I have talked about this a lot over the years. We hear about these big-name potential SEC recruits, and I've always said, I have no idea about, I'm not a recruiting guru, but I do know the one thing I've discovered through the years is if a guy's a big-time legit SEC player, you don't have to ask what number he is. It's evident. He's head and shoulders above everybody else in that field. I'm telling you, Coach, seeing Jeremiah Cobb, the running back from Catholic tonight for the first time he touched the ball that I saw was that 12-yard run we just saw, he's got it. He's it. He's got it.
An 84-yard touchdown run also.
Yeah, well, when you see him, I mean, when you get to watch those kind of kids, I mean, you don't have to go, well, is he? No, As soon as they touch the ball, yep, that's him.
Yeah, that's right.
He's that way. And the thing about, we're talking about Jim, he got another year to work on. I mean, there's so much he can work on. He's already there, but, until you get there, you got a lot to work on. And I know him and his daddy going to get out there and work on the things that he needs to do to get better. And he's already there, but the other kid, Auburn's going to be happy if they can get him.
Coach, you talked about kicking game. They've got one of the top punters in America at Catholic. Yeah. Gabe Russo, you saw there kicking the field goal. They got one of the top kickers in the state of Alabama. They're very balanced on offense. They can run the ball, obviously. They can throw the ball with Caleb McCreary at quarterback. They got Harkless at wide receiver, who is a big play wide receiver for them. Their defense is outstanding. The defense, number 6 defense in the state in any classification, giving up single digits as far as points this year. I mean, this is, you've seen many 4A state champions. You've seen what it takes to win a 4A championship. Coach, from what I saw tonight, this is a team that could win it.
They could, and I was interested to watch how Jacksonville could play them, because it very well could come down that Montgomery Catholic has to play this region back to back to back.
Yeah.
It could be that way. Yeah. I've been a part of seeing that before with Aniana with us, playing them back to back to back. But they've got everything it takes to win it. You know, I've talked about just about every week when we're going over stats or whatever, I say, hey, have y'all seen that Montgomery Catholic's not giving up anything? To me, that's where they're most impressive, is their defensive side of the ball, and it gives them a chance. But there's 2 other teams from this region that can give them a shot too.
Yeah, absolutely. Handily impressive tonight. Anniston taking care of business on the road. Even one of the assistant coaches is impressive for Montgomery Catholic, Jeremy Johnson, the former Auburn quarterback. At halftime, he comes out there and I said, wonder which one Coach Johnson is. About this time, this 6'5" guy throws a ball all the way from one sideline to the other on a perfect spiral. I'm going, yeah, I think that's probably Jeremy Johnson, who coaches for Catholic of Montgomery. Let's spend some time for just a minute here. If you are an Alabama or Auburn fan, that's about 98% of you out there. You want to be at the Jacksonville Public Library next Thursday night, November 17th, because I don't want this to escape folks, but this guy right here was a researcher for ESPN. When you see all those stats at the bottom, you think, where in the world did ESPN get those stats from? These crazy stats? This guy right here did that for a number of years for ESPN. So now what he is going to do is he has put together a presentation about the Iron Bowl, inside the numbers of the Iron Bowl. So Mark, tell us what's going to happen at the Jacksonville Public Library. This is free, by the way, next Thursday night.
Well, I love going and really breaking down numbers. And one thing I wanted to do was, since I moved here, the passion for college football and high school football is much more than it is in the Northeast. Northeast is mostly pro football. And I wanted a way to honor some of that, because it's affected me too. I've been moved down here and get caught up in it. And everyone I talk to, I can talk to for about 20 to 30 minutes about college football. I could have an intelligent conversation with them if I know them or not. It just say roll tide to somebody, and all of a sudden you're in a conversation. The numbers between the 2 teams are something that really fascinated me. First thing I looked at is how Coach Saban struggles at Jordan-Hare. It's not just with Alabama. He only has 27 losses overall since coming to Alabama. It's something like, it was like 106-16 against the SEC before this year. So he's totally dominated that conference. And he's 4-4 at Jordan-Hare, 4-7 overall, because he was 0-3 when he coached LSU. Weird things seem to happen to him there. Like if you remember.
I've been there, Mark. I've been there.
And it's that you just can't explain it. And overall, he has a negative point differential at Jordan-Hare. With Alabama, it's still a little bit positive. But just like 2019, the field goal at the end of the first half, then 12 men on the field at the end of the game, those types of things don't seem to happen to him somewhere else. The other thing is that when you look at the success they've had under Nick Saban, 41 first-round draft picks. 14 straight years with a first-round draft pick, which will be a record next year when they have their 15th straight year drafting a player in the first round. That will be a new record. They'll break Miami's record, okay? They have not had a selection in the top 2 under Saban. They have 41 from 3 to 30, 3 to 32, and none in the top 2. You look over, so now I only really count the NFL draft since they merged in 1970. Because that's when all the rules kind of applied to everybody. Since 1970, the highest ranked player Alabama player has been drafted is number 2, which was Cornelius Bennett, taken by Indianapolis and traded to Buffalo. However, Auburn has had 3 number 1 overall picks. Bo Jackson, everybody forgets about Andre Bruce, and then Cam Newton. So even though Alabama has this great lineage of players being taken in the first round, they can't say that they've had 3 number 1 picks. So, Auburn might feel slighted in one sense, but they're not in the other. And I think that's the great thing about this rivalry, is that every time that Auburn has an inferiority complex, they can point to something that they say, hey, this is ours. And that's what makes the rivalry so great. And then you have other times, like in 2012 after the tornado, the communities binding together. And that's really what it's about too, is that even though there's a great rivalry, I think it unites, for someone who's not from here, I love seeing the passion and the fact that it means so much to everybody. And that's really what I want to share with people, and to know that I respect how much it means to them. I did a lot of work on it, and a lot of numbers like that people say, oh, that's interesting. And those are the things I really like to explore.
It is going to be Thursday night, next Thursday night, November the 17th, Jacksonville Public Library, just off the public square in Jacksonville. 6 o'clock is the start time for that. It's absolutely free as well. People can come. You're just getting a taste of what you're going to get there. If you're an Alabama or Auburn fan, this will be about, 8 days, 9 days before the Iron Bowl. So you can come and get riled up for that and get ready to go and learn a lot of stuff, ask questions. It's called Iron Bowl Inside the Numbers, and that will be with Mark Everett Kelly there at the Jacksonville Public Library next Thursday night, November 17th at 6 p.m. Mark, thank you so much for the work you're putting in. And good to see you tonight at Jacksonville on the sidelines. We'll look for more of your work with East Alabama Sports Today, and hopefully there'll be a big crowd that will turn out up in Jacksonville on Thursday night for this Inside the Numbers with the Iron Bowl for Alabama and Auburn. As we go to break, Noble Bank, of course, this is the Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser with Mark Everett Kelly here. Our post-game presser presented by Noble Bank and Trust. They have locations in Anniston, Oxford, Alexandria, Heflin, even over at the Summit in Birmingham, just right off the mountain there from the Summit. They have a location there. The great thing about that is, if you call them on the phone, you're going to get a live person guaranteed. Noble Bank and Trust, great supporters of high school football, and bringing you the Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser here on After the Game. More of After the Game as we roll on a Football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team One Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team One Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston. The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
As we approach the 11 o'clock hour, back on High School Football Alabama's After the Game, Jon Holder, Gerhard Mathangani, Coach Michael Short with us, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. I know we got a lot of folks traveling tonight. Hopefully you're tuned in and you're listening to us on Facebook, watching us on Facebook and YouTube as you're making your way back perhaps from Wheaton or Tuskegee or Tuscumbia, wherever you may be tonight. Maybe there's some B.B. Comer fans coming back from Wicksburg tonight, tuning in. We've got some more highlights for you. Big game tonight for the Gadsden City Titans. It's been a while since the Titans have been this deep in the playoffs. Second round playoff game at home at Titan Stadium, but a very good Mountain Brook team. We talked about Chris Yeager and the Spartans coming, and so, you know, we're going to have that game coming up a little bit later on. I keep forgetting this, folks. We're going to talk about Cherokee County. We got that one covered. But we also have Cherokee County and West Morgan tonight. Cherokee County at home as well tonight. We're going to have highlights at Gadsden City game coming, but the Cherokee County game tonight, they were at home at Bobby Joe Johnson Field and Center against West Morgan. West Morgan was a team that at the beginning of the season, I don't think anybody was picking West Morgan to even be in the playoffs. They've had a lot of down years. Right. This is in Trinity over in western Morgan County out from Decatur. And they just kind of pulled some upsets early in the season. They've been on a roll, really good team coming into Bobby Joe Johnson Field and Center. But Gerhard, we were there tonight. Cherokee County just continues to impress. They continue to roll. West Morgan gave them a good shot tonight, scored some points. But the thing that's been very impressive about Cherokee County is the number of points that they're starting to score. They have really unleashed the offense here in the second half of the season, and they did that again tonight against West Morgan. And Cherokee County, for the first time in a long time, we talked about Gadsden City being there in the second round. For the first time in a while, Cherokee County now in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and this is a proud Cherokee County football program. And John mentioned it. This West Morgan team hasn't been to the playoffs in 4 years. And I'll give you their win totals: 5-5, 3-7, 3-7, 1-9. So West Morgan, a bit of a surprise to just about everybody, but not Jacob Kelly and his bunch. He knew that this would be a really good team coming in. Let's go over to Cherokee County out at center. First ever meeting between the Rebels and the Warriors today, and it is West Morgan starting with the football. How about Jalen Fletcher? Nice tough run there for a big first down for the Rebels. A few plays later, they go back to Fletcher, and somehow, some way, he squirts out of there. A whole bunch of Warriors defenders are there, but he is gone. 70 yards later, he would score. Somehow, some way, broke out of there. So Fletcher getting the scoring started early in this one, and the Rebels have an early 7-0 lead on the Warriors. But Cherokee County ensuing possession. This one also not going right for Cherokee County. This is Cade Harper sacked by Antonio Townsend. And I'll tell you what, the student section, they were trying to keep this team in it, but it was all Rebels early on as far as the momentum goes in the first quarter. West Morgan with the football once again, back to Townsend. You see the tough running here. Another big first down for the Rebels. However, the Warriors defense would step up, hold them to this field goal attempt. It is no good, so we stay 7-0. A little bit later on, Warriors with the ball. It is Jacob Cornejo. Saw a lot of him last week. A big first down right here. Then the very next play, they go to Jackson Amos. He would take the snap and then take it to the house. Warrior touchdown here, and they get on the board for the first time. However, the PAT was blocked, so the Rebels at this point still had the lead. You take a look here at the big special teams play by West Morgan. But as we mentioned earlier, it is Cherokee County that would come away with the win in this one. So down early on, but look at how impressive the run was for the Warriors. End up winning it 42-28. So a great season overall for West Morgan, and one they'll remember for a long time, but it is Cherokee County's night tonight. And this train keeps rolling. And John, as you mentioned, offensively, took them a little while to get there. But once they did, they were rolling, 42 points tonight.
You know, Coach Short, I got a text earlier this week from Coach Jacob Kelly. And, you know, at the beginning of the summer, back when we had our High School Football Alabama magazine, I did like preseason top 10, Super 7 picks. And I picked Cherokee County to be number 2 and to be in the Super 7. And he sent me a text this week and said, hey, all we're trying to do is make you prognostications look good. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hold up our end of the bargain. Coach, they're doing that. Cherokee County, exactly what we expected them to be this year, maybe even better than what we expected them to be this year.
Cherokee County is a perfect example of why it was so important to win the region. Because your path is a little bit easier. Right. Not saying take anything away from West Morgan, But getting first was so important for them because, as I mentioned to you the other day, you got to stay out of Tuscumbia.
Yep.
So you might point in time meet that group, but you needed to stay away from going over there. So that's why it was important for Cherokee County to win the region this year. It makes their path a lot easier.
Center hits the road for the first time in the playoffs. Their first 2 games have been at home. They go to Huntsville to face the Randolph Raiders. This is another team, Coach, that basically nobody at the beginning of the season is talking about Randolph much as being a team that would be in the state quarterfinals in 4A. But here they are. But again, I think Cherokee County was the favorite against Corner. They were a big favorite tonight against West Morgan. I think they're going to be the favorite. I hate to tell Coach Kelly that they're going to be the favorite again going to Randolph.
They will, and from what I hear from my friends in that part of the state, that Randolph has a team that this group has kind of come along. They've been playing, and this was their year that they look forward to. So I think that Cherokee County has a big task ahead of them going on the road for the first time with a group, and that's always big because each round nerves get worse and worse and worse because what's your goal is to try to be practicing on Thanksgiving Day. But again, this may be one of Randolph's better teams that they've had in a long time, and they've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, and there's a possibility now. You don't want to look too far ahead. You can't, as we've seen with all the upsets that we saw tonight across the state. You cannot afford to look ahead. But Center, they one of only 2 losses. They have a chance to avenge one of those, and that was Aniana, a game where they were up 14-3 in the fourth quarter of that game at Aniana. If they can win and Aniana can beat Deshler, they would get another shot at the Redskins. This time the game would be in Center.
Yeah, and you're probably going to get another text now that's rat poison or whatever you want to call it. You're going to get another text if he hears that one now. And that is, as a coach, that's the battle you got to fight.
Yeah.
Because those kids in the back of their mind, they're all saying, no, we're not, we're focused. But in the back of their mind, they're still kids.
Yep.
And you got to keep that out of their minds, guys. We don't care about anybody else but the team we're fixing to play, Randolph.
Yeah, and it's another one of those things where you can quickly point back at rematches in the playoffs. We had one tonight with Coosa Christian and Spring Garden, and so you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. But talking about predictions being right, one of the things that you pointed to even before the playoffs began was keep Class 4A Region 6 in mind, because don't be surprised, we see a lot of these rematches a little bit later on. So yeah, it is setting up to where we can get one of those, but as Coach said, you got to go one at a time.
Well, we've been talking about, we looked at 1A, we had some upsets there. Right now we're going to go back to our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets. We're going to go to the 2A bracket. We'll take you down south. Not really a lot of surprises. There were a couple of surprises, but maybe the margin of victory in some of these games. We'll begin down south. B.B. Comer Tigers going down to Wicksburg tonight. They won 22-14 way down south, taking on Reeltown next week. Reeltown beat a very good GW Long team. They won that game 55-0 tonight down at Reeltown. So next week, I think this is going to be a great matchup. In Sylacauga at Legion Stadium, Reeltown, number 3, ranked 10-1, taking on number 6 B.B. Comer, who comes in at 10-2. Great football game in Sylacauga at Legion Stadium next week in the Class 2A quarterfinals. The other half of the South in Class 2A, Highland Home handed Ariton their only loss, and that was by a point in the regular season. Tonight, there was a lot of talk about Ariton was going to beat them this time. Highland Home Flying Squadron says, not going to happen tonight. Highland Home beats Ariton 44-28, and they did that at Zumstein Stadium in Ariton tonight. And then Clark County, we said last week, they're the defending state champions. They're sitting there. They came into the playoffs, did Clark County, with a 5-5 record. But their schedule, everybody that they lost to is in the playoffs. They played a tremendously tough schedule. Folks like Thomasville, and Clark County tonight beat a very good Vincent team down in Grove Hill at Primm Stadium, 43-28. So next week, I think this is going to be a great matchup. This is a rematch. Last year, this was the semifinal game. Highland Home lost to Clark County 42-21 last year in the semifinals. Now we're in the quarterfinals. They're going to play again. This will be at Highland Home. Clark County coming in as they'll come in at 7-5 now. Highland Home comes in at 11-1, a number 5 versus number 7 matchup in the 2A South. In 2A North Alabama, how about Tuscaloosa Academy? The first year ever in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. They make the playoffs. They win their first round game, and tonight they were actually on the road at Lexington, and they beat the Golden Bears tonight 23-20. They get the number 1 ranked undefeated Fife Red Devils. Fife went on the road to Double Springs 35-6. I can confidently say that Tuscaloosa Academy, spending their whole length of the history of that school in the AISA, has never seen anything like Fife. Fife will be at home next week. Paul Benefield Stadium in Fife. Tuscaloosa Academy coming to town 10-2. Fife with that win tonight, ranked number 1. They are 12-0. And how about this matchup? A couple of surprises here. Pisgah, not surprising that they won at Southeastern. We're going to have highlights of this game, by the way, courtesy of Namath Pitts. Pisgah beat Southeastern tonight in Rimlap 48-28. Not surprised they won the game, but they won that game handily. And then another team that we said you better not forget, Aliceville. Aliceville beat Falkville 38-21 tonight. And Aliceville and Pisgah will play next week. That game will be up at Pisgah. Pisgah, of course, coming in now with a mark of 10-2. Aliceville, they come in with a mark of 11-1. By the way, Aliceville's only loss to Class 6A Centerpoint. So that tells you what kind of football team they have. That should be a great matchup next week up on Sand Mountain at Pisgah, coming up next Friday night. Back on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Let's tell you about the fine folks at Awards to Remember. They have been bringing you our plaque for Player of the Week. We'll hand another one of those out next week. They also have been bringing you our Tough Guy Team of the Week trophy. We'll have a Team of the Year trophy to give away as well. Go to awardstoremember.com. Keep in mind, they are one of the top 10 awards dealers in the entire Southeast. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, wherever it is, they are one of the top 10 in all of those states, the premier awards dealer in all of East Alabama. If you have plaques, awards of any kind, trophies, there's no place better to go. The only place to go in East Alabama, Awards to Remember, Highway 144 in Ohatchee. We'll be back with more of After the Game as we roll toward 12 midnight live on Facebook and YouTube.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Tell you about a great new promotion with Grub Mart and Big Time Entertainment in Oxford. Here's the deal. Go and spend $20 at any Grub Mart location. That's gas. That can be anything at the store whatsoever. Spend $20 at Grub Mart and you will receive a $10 voucher from Big Time Entertainment in Oxford. That's a $10 voucher. Just spend $20 at any Grub Mart and you'll get a $10 voucher from Big Time Entertainment in Oxford. You can go there and throw axes, race go-karts, bowl, putt-putt golf, whatever it is. Great promotion there going on between Grub Mart and Big Time Entertainment. Back on high school football, Alabama after the game on this Football Friday night. What we're going to do is talk about the Young Oil Muscle Team, and very appropriately this week, our Grub Mart Muscle Team is the Coosa Christian Conquerors. This is their offensive line. They scored 31 points tonight at Spring Garden, but going back to last week in the game against Hackleburg, this offensive line helped the Conquerors to 51 points in that 51-8 playoff win over Hackleburg. Those linemen include Caleb Besson, John Cook, Dylan East, Dylan Reed, and Matthew Wright. That's the highest point total that Coosa Christian has had in over 2 years in that game last week in that playoff win against Hackleburg, the first ever AHSAA playoff win in Coosa Christian history. Each one of those linemen, I delivered those personally tonight to Coach Mark O'Brien of the Coosa Christian Conquerors. He's got their Grub Mart Muscle Team shirts, and each one of those linemen will get will each get a Muscle Team t-shirt. Congratulations to the Coosa Christian offensive line. Let's run through all the local scores one more time in East Alabama as we go back to our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. It was Piedmont tonight winning at Colbert County 42-20. Anniston Bulldogs also won on a long road trip tonight at Booker T. Washington, 38-20. Jacksonville falls to Montgomery Catholic. You saw highlights of that game earlier, 44-27. Big win tonight for Hanley. They win in Bruton against T.R. Miller, 27-14. Highlights of this game still on the way. A great game at Volunteer Stadium. Number 5 in 5A Gulf Shores beating Central of Clay County 26-21. Highlights on the way. As we just mentioned in the 2A brackets, B.B. Comer beat Wicksburg tonight 22-14 at Wicksburg. Monumental win for Lee Osmond and the Arab Knights. Arab beats Moody 42-20 tonight. Arab, for the first time in school history, moves to the state quarterfinals. Also tonight, Cherokee County beat West Morgan 42-28. You just saw highlights of that game from Center, and you saw highlights of this game earlier. Coosa Christian with a last-second field goal to beat Spring Garden 31-28, the final from the Garden tonight, as Coosa Christian, for the first time ever, moves into the state quarterfinals. Gadsden City tonight, they fall to Mountain Brook. Still got highlights of that game on the way as the Spartans come in and win 37-6. And also tonight, the Etowah Blue Devils playing in Tuscumbia against undefeated and number 7 ranked Deschler. Deschler wins the game 36-33 to end the Etowah season at 8-4. Let's take you back now to our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets. It's time to go through the 3A brackets. A lot of interest in Class 3A here in East Alabama, mainly because of the Piedmont Bulldogs. Let's begin in the South. This was a game tonight that went to overtime, and in that overtime game, it was Thomasville beating Dadeville 15-14. Thomasville 15, Dadeville 14 in overtime. They will get St. James, the team that beat Wellborn last week. They knock off W.S. Neal tonight in East Bruton 42-21. So next week, great matchup coming up here in South Alabama. Thomasville 9-3, traveling to Montgomery to take on 10-2 St. James of Montgomery. The other bracket in the South, Mobile Christian continues to roll on the field officially. They are 9-3. They win against Trinity Presbyterian, the team that knocked out Sachs last week. 27-13. They win the game tonight in Mobile to improve on the field to 9-3. They will get Pike County. Pike County was a winner tonight against Alabama Christian. That was the team that beat Randolph County last week. The game was in Montgomery on the campus of Faulkner University. And it was Pike County beating Alabama Christian 41-29. So next week it will be Pike County. They are now 9-3, and they will be on the road as they will go to Mobile to take on 9-3 Mobile Christian. We come to the north, and this is where we had all the upsets. We talked about Upset City, all the big upsets tonight in Class 3A. Look at this. These are not mistakes. These are not misprints. These are real. Geraldine, out of 3A Region 6 tonight, beat number 1 ranked Mars Hill Bible at Coolidge Isbell Field in Geraldine, 17-14. Great job by Michael Davis and the Geraldine Bulldogs tonight to beat Mars Hill Bible, knocking off the number 1 ranked team, the team that a lot of folks thought was going to win this thing. Their only loss had been to 6A Coleman. Geraldine moves on to the quarterfinals, and they get a familiar face as they get DeKalb County rival and fellow 3A Region 6 rival Sylvania. The Rams went on the road and won in Madison against Madison Academy, who came in at 9-2. They go and they beat the Mustangs tonight 48-45. That game also went to overtime. 2 overtime games in 3A tonight. So Sylvania and Geraldine, they're both from 3A Region 6 in the regular season. Sylvania won 41-24. The rematch will be at Sylvania next Friday night. We could have an all Class 3A Region 6 final in the north because the Piedmont Bulldogs still alive. They win at Colbert County at Leeton tonight, 42-20. The Bulldogs move to 10-2, ranked number 3 in the final poll. They'll get the Gordo Green Wave coming to the Field of Champions. Gordo beat Lauderdale County of Rogersville tonight at Gordo, 44-14. So next Friday night, a number 2 versus number 3 matchup. 10-2 Piedmont, 11-1 Gordo. Number 2 Gordo, number 3 Piedmont at the Field of Champions in Piedmont in the Class 3A quarterfinals. The winner gets the winner of that Geraldine-Sylvania game. So we could have an all-Class 3A Region 6 final, semifinal, no question about that. And now we're going to roll into our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. UMS Wright Prep of Mobile defeated Headland 56-13 last week in the first round of the Class 5A playoffs to give head coach Terry Curtis his 347th career win. The win made Curtis the AHSAA's all-time career football coaching wins leader. With their win tonight in the second round, he now has a 348-92 career record, passing longtime Vestivia Hills coach Buddy Anderson, and he's now just ahead of Central Clay County head coach Danny Horn and also 5 head coach Paul Benefield. More of high school football Alabama after the game when we come back on this Football Friday night.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tile, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. NobleBank.com. Member FDIC.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
You just saw our friend Kevin Riggin there from Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden on East Megan Boulevard in East Gadsden. And what he just talked about is what we're going to talk about. They have the best service, the best people, and let me tell you what they're doing right now. If you have a car that you want to trade in, they're going to give you the best price of anybody here in East Alabama. If you just want to get rid of your car, you want to sell your car, you need some cash money, bring that down to Kevin Riggin. Kevin will come out there and give you the best offer. They're buying cars right now. Home of the best service, the best people, period. Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden bringing us our extra points this season here on High School Football Alabama. Time now to talk about our Farmers and Merchants Bank. We had the Spirit Scholarship winners earlier. Well, I'll tell you about our Farmers and Merchants Bank Team of the Week. We've got a plaque that is coming to Cherokee County High School and Center because Jacob Cornejo, I said that right. I think so. We'll confirm that in just a minute with our guest. He is a transfer in from Sandrock in the offseason, and he's this week's Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week. You see him right there. He rushed last week in the Warriors' 47-10 first-round playoff win over Corner 20 times for 372 yards. That's about 19 yards per carry, I believe. My math right. 6 touchdowns. He had runs of 1, 2, 28, 57, 58. Coach Shorty had a 99-yard touchdown run last week as well. Obviously, he is our Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week. He'll get the plaque. We'll get that up to center next week and get that presented to Jacob Cornejo, who is our Cherokee County High School running back and also our Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week. I said our special guest could confirm that, and this is the principal of Cherokee County High School. Fans in East Alabama know him very well. Bobby Tittle is here with us, along with the coach Michael Short.
How you doing?
Mr. Tittle, I'm glad to have you with us tonight. We're going to do something a little different now that we're in the playoffs. We talk with coaches, we talk with players, we talk with media people, we talk with athletic directors, but a lot of times we don't talk with the administrators, the principals. And when you got a season like Cherokee County is having now, and you're deep in the playoffs now, you're in the state quarterfinals, only 8 teams left, there's a lot going on behind the scenes to make home playoff games happen. The Alabama High School Athletic Association has a lot of things that are different in the playoffs than the regular season. So we wanted to bring you in tonight and kind of talk about, from a principal and administration standpoint, what it's like hosting a playoff game like you did tonight against West Morgan.
Well, and you're right, they do. They'll send a packet of information to the head coach or to me, and they'll copy both of us on the emails a lot now. And the good thing now that they're doing is round 2 and 3 are all virtual. So they just email you everything and email you the Zoom link. And
yes.
So that Saturday morning meeting, Coach Kelly doesn't have to go all the way to Montgomery now. I mean, you made that route many times. But so he just has to Zoom in. But, you know, they do. One of the main differences is, and a lot of schools are using GoFan now for their tickets, but now it's mandatory. You can't have a cash box and use GoFan. You have to use GoFan. AHSA mandates that. They send you the link. They create the link. You know, they also, with officials, they send your officials to you, which, you know, your local organization does that anyway, but like tonight, we had different officials that you normally don't see.
Right.
And as with any game, my priority there is to make sure those officials are safe from the moment they get on our campus to the moment they exit our campus. And so we have set routines with those officials that we do. Sometimes they send you scripts that you have to say over the PA. Like tonight, they had a very well written Veterans Day commemorative 2 or 3 paragraphs just to acknowledge our veterans that were in the audience, which they should have done, and it was a great moment. So it's just things like that you have to make sure, and also the visiting principal, they have a form they fill out.
Yes.
After the game.
Yeah. They're watching you.
They're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching. Yeah, and just to see, to make sure everything flows as it should.
Not letting people in free. And things
yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. Stacking the student section, all that kind of stuff. So there's things like that they watch.
Overtime packet.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still make you put that in the program?
Not yet, because not yet. But I remember those from a few years ago. You had to put all those little overtime rules in there.
Overtime inside your packet, and then they would sometimes make you just say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You would just call it out loud, just so you say you covered it.
Yep.
Another thing that's really different about this too is on the financial side of things, because unlike a regular season game, the athletic association gets a portion of the proceeds.
Yep.
The visiting team gets an equal portion of what the home team gets.
Mm-hmm.
The visiting team gets a huge amount of expense travel. The officials get travel money, and all that falls upon the home team, right, to figure all that out and get all those bills paid.
Yeah, and now again, with it being through GoFan, we don't have to sit there and count tickets and count money and send it all back to them. They know what it is because it all goes to them now anyway. And then they divvy all that out. But you're right. Just because you make a $10,000 gate, we're not keeping $10,000.
Right.
Because once you pay for, HSA doesn't give you any room either to pay for the power bills that go on tonight. That comes out of our third. Yeah. That comes all of those different expenses, security, ambulance, all that comes out of our portion. So, just because you see a bunch of people and you think, oh, that school's fixing to get a bunch of money.
Financially, it's actually better to go on the road, isn't it?
Sometimes it is. Now, you want to be at home.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You want to be at home.
Financially,
but sometimes financially, it is better to travel.
And I'm going to bring Coach in on this in just a second, but is part of you see your role as the principal, you want Coach Kelly and his staff to worry about football and worry about the opponent and worry about the game itself on Friday.
That's right.
You as the principal administrator want to take as much off of him and his staff, I would think, right? Is that on the right track?
You're 100%. He shouldn't worry about, or any head coach, in my opinion, should worry about setting up the scoreboard, make sure the scoreboard works, make sure the sound system's running. It was Veterans Day, so we didn't have school today, but I was at school about 1:30 today, making sure the scoreboard's running, trash cans, making sure everything's set up, making sure the music's going, just doing a double check on everything.
Coach, how important is that support? The teams that are successful and make deep playoff runs year after year, that relationship between the head football coach, particularly, which you were in for 20 years, and the administrator, that principal, or even the superintendent, things like that. You get into playoffs and things like this in big games, I would think that relationship, Coach, is really vitally important to the success of the team on Friday night.
Oh, absolutely. And I always had 3 people I always made sure I took care of, because I knew they was going to take care of me. First of all, my principal. Next, my bookkeeper.
That's true.
And
That's true.
The bookkeeper, and it's a little easier now with GoFam. It is. And my Booster Club president. Because as far as when you get on the road, meals, buses, all the stuff that I would always worry about, he's, I got it, Coach. I'll take care of it. But I still went behind him just to make sure that it was right. But there's a lot of stuff on travel. They'll find out this week. There's even more. I know, you want to be on the road, but there's a lot of stuff that you got to take care of to get on the road. And everybody, you got a list. Well, I had a checklist a mile long, and I would go by and give it to the principal. I say, "You take care of that for me." All right, got it, Coach. All right, got it. So it's very important that those 3 people, you gotta be tight with them to know what's happening.
And to host any football game, but especially a playoff game, both of you guys can address this. It takes an army of people. It takes a lot of your faculty, and it takes a ton of volunteers and booster club people that have to be involved, parents and things like that. All the moving parts that it takes of hosting a big playoff game, and the more people that are there, the bigger the game is. There's more concessions, there's more crowd control, more tickets being sold. I would think both you guys can talk about this. is the number of people it takes to pull off hosting something like this.
You know, our faculty is phenomenal, you know, because like right now you can't plan 2 or 3 weeks in advance to know where you're going to be and home and if you're still going to be playing or not. And so right, like for example, in the playoffs, it's a week by week, and you know, we've got to have 4 to 5 people to run gates right now. And so that has to be our faculty. And so, you know, you send out an email, send out your sign-up sheet, and within just moments, we have volunteers of teachers that are taking time away from their own personal time to work a ticket booth to help redeem those tickets. And that's the huge thing. If you don't have a faculty that's on board and really just willing to support each other, it makes the night pretty tough.
And your next headache this coming Friday is the teachers that want to go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
They've got kids, so you got to find them subs. You got to make sure there's probably going to be 4 classes in the gym and one teacher staying back going to watch them and take care of them. But not only is it just the athletic side I always talked about, but we got cheerleaders, we got the band, we got to make sure that's there and they're taken care of. And that's just more, not on that football coach, but on the principal, that's more stuff that he has to make sure to get those buses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they've got to get there too, and they've got to have meals too. So that's just more and more that you got to think of, especially when you go on the road.
Yeah, well, you talked about the travel part of that. And another thing too is that's really kind of changed just in the last 2 years is there's not a lot of freebies anymore. The complimentary passes that each school gets from the Athletic Association is not a great number.
No, it's not.
And it's kind of on a sliding scale. 7A schools larger, they get a larger number, but then it starts sliding down. 5A, 4A, where Cherokee County is. So everybody comes, they want to get in free, they want some tickets.
Yeah.
There's only a limited number of those.
It is, and especially these playoff games, it gets more expensive as the rounds, as you get deeper. And you know, right now we're getting 15 tickets, comp tickets. And
that ain't a lot.
That's not
they're
a lot.
hard at you.
Yeah.
Where's my ticket? I got in all year.
No, I want my ticket now. And
My
so,
reserved seat. There's none of that either.
And so you know that's an issue because you know you have a lot of faculty that want to go. You have a lot of boosters that want to go, and you want to help them out because of all the work they do, and our faculty because of all the work they do. But again, 15 tickets. That's all we get, and the state sends you that link.
The one thing that we did one time, and you might can look at this, is all those people that now can't get in, they're getting a little mad at you. All right, guys, when we get through, make a deep run, we're going to have a little get-together, and all y'all are going to come, and we're going to feed you. We're going to take care of it. That makes them feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, anytime food comes up, I was a part of that, so I want to be.
That always helps.
It always helps.
That always helps.
Coach, before we, Mr. Tillcott, Coach, Mr. Tillway,
yeah.
we have so many coaches in here, including Coach Kelly was here with us a few weeks ago on the show. Let's talk about the football aspect of things now. The excitement that has been generated. It's been a few years since Cherokee County has been this far in the playoffs. They have a legitimate chance, as I've put the monkey on your back in our magazine.
No rat poison.
And you know, this is, but the excitement in center has got to be sky high, and just the kind of season you're having right now, where you're state ranked, you're winning big games, you're going deep in the playoffs. From the principal aspect of things, what has that done for Cherokee County High School having a season like this?
Well, any school you're at, whenever your football team does well, starts off well, you know, if they're 1-2, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, et cetera, if they start off well, if their season's going well, if they're making deep runs, your school year automatically goes better, hands down. And it's crazy how that all ties together. Your attendance, your grades, your discipline, your school spirit, all of it goes together because your football team's doing well. I've been at schools with football teams at 1-9. I've been at schools where they were 12-2. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And it's the same way at Cherokee County right now. You know, we're going to the third round, and school spirit's high, community support's high. We had radio spots that Coach Kelly and I had to do on the local radio, encouraging folks to come out. And so, you know, you see ribbons, you see signs all over, you see painted downtown on the square. It's just stuff like that that's great. You have people wanting to step up and feed the team on Wednesday night and on Thursday night. They had prayer breakfast this morning. So it's things like that from your local churches and your local businesses that's priceless, and it's just great for our kids to experience this right now.
Winning breeds winning.
Yes, it does.
And it will carry over into all your other sports.
Every other sport.
And everybody wants to feed you this time of the year. But I want to personally tell you something. This comes from a coach. I'm taking it as a coach now, that I appreciate, and this is for me looking in and listening and hearing, that great principals let their coaches coach. They don't step in and try to tell them how to do their job. I'm gonna guide you, and you got guidelines, but you let those guys coach. And I appreciate, as a former football coach, I appreciate you allowing your coaches to coach, and that's in every sport.
Yeah, well, then that's why they're hired. You know, Coach Kelly and I, a lot of coaches joke a lot of times. They call me the offensive analyst. But and I don't know anything. I have never played.
But we talked football that night.
We did talk. I mean, I have knowledge of it. I have knowledge,
Yeah.
but as far as in the scheming, I don't. But they call me the offensive analyst on a joking side. But yeah, that's what they do. They coach, and we have a great coaching staff. They're very close, smart guys. They're great mentors. You know, if not, my son's playing under them, and every one of them is just great mentors to him. So you got to have that. It's great guys.
Well, Mr. Tittle, I'll tell you this. We want our teams in East Alabama to be successful. Our 4A teams, you know, we've got some teams in the South. We've now got you carrying the banner for the North with the Etowah's loss tonight. So obviously we want to see Cherokee County do well. Best of luck to your team next week. Best wishes for safe travels and all that goes on as you go to Huntsville to face Randolph next week. Thank you for coming and spending time with us here on High School Football Alabama's After the Game to give folks an insight. I've learned a lot. I think fans have learned a lot about what goes on behind the scenes to put on a production, which is what it is, like you had tonight there against West Morgan. Thank you for coming and being with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Bobby Tittle is the principal at Cherokee County High School. They win tonight against West Morgan at home, 42-28. They're headed to the state quarterfinals in Class 4A. They'll be in the Rocket City of Huntsville to take on the Randolph Raiders next Friday night. Top 8 teams in the state, only 4 left in North Alabama. Cherokee County's one of them. We'll be back with more of After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission in just a moment.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did. When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Cash back, plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cashback account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. noblebank.com, member FDIC.
East Alabama, guess what? Local news is back. East Alabama Now is your online source for everything happening in our communities. East Alabama Now, bringing you local news every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening, all to keep you informed and in the know. Like, subscribe, follow East Alabama Now on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. EAN News on Facebook, East Alabama Now, bridging our community. And in our East Alabama community, let's also talk about Johnson's Giant Food. 5 locations to serve you here in East Alabama. They are in Attala, they're in downtown Gadsden, they're in East Gadsden, they're in Coldwater, they're in Jacksonville. I was just in Johnson's this week. I'll tell you folks, I don't send you there just because I'm saying to go there. I was there this week. Fantastic. I had some of their chicken fingers out of their deli this week. I had that for about 2 or 3 meals out of there, and it was fantastic. Anything you want in the deli, it's great. Their meats are fantastic. Bought some ground chuck up there, had some of that this week. They've got great steaks and chops and chicken, and anything that you need for your tailgate, for all of your needs coming up for the holidays. Thanksgiving's a couple of weeks away. That deli, will check it out. They got the best dressing I've ever had anywhere. Johnson's Giant Food, 5 locations to serve you here in East Alabama. Johnson's Giant Food also bringing you our Assistant Coach of the Week. And this week it is Ragland High School in the spotlight. We're talking about Richard Joyner. He is the offensive coordinator for the Purple Devils, also coaches baseball at Ragland High School. He teaches science. And this guy has a master's degree in biology. He is our Assistant Coach of the Week, and he will receive a $25 gift certificate from Johnson's Giant Foods. Congratulations once again to head coach, or I should say Assistant Coach, Richard Joyner, Assistant Coach of the Week from Ragland High School. Apparently I've just been itching to see Gadsden City highlights tonight. So as we go back now to our Red Threads highlights, we're going to finally take you to Titan Stadium in Gadsden for the 6A matchup tonight between Gadsden City and Mountain Brook. I've already told you all about it, so let's just take you to Titan Stadium and see the matchup tonight between the Spartans and the Titans.
Yeah, our Bailey Morris was back out today. She went to Cherokee County first. You heard from Bobby Tittle. You saw that great win. Then she moved over to Gadsden City where the Spartans were in town. Let's go over to this big matchup. Gadsden City up or down 16-0 to Mountain Brook. When we get there, this is the first possession of the second half. This is John Colvin connecting with Rob Gillespie for Mountain Brook, a big 12 yards and a first down here. However, the Titan defense would come up big right here. Mountain Brook going for it on 4th down, and they don't get it. You'll see on the measurement the Titan defense holding strong here, and the Titans would get the football after that, but the drive would stall. Next Mountain Brook possession, it's Cole Gamble on the handoff. Great blocking and an excellent cutback right there. He is gone. To the house, he takes it, and the Spartans back on the scoreboard once again. The PAT good, and Mountain Brook now takes a commanding 23-0 lead. The Spartan defense also made life very tough for Gadsden City. This is Matthew Sparks into the game here, looking downfield. This is probably a coverage sack, Coach, because nobody's open downfield. Somehow, some way, he throws the ball, and I have no idea how Sam Hutt intercepts this, but he picks it off deep in Titan territory. Very next play, the Spartans turn the turnover into points as Colvin gets into the end zone for the touchdown. PAT is good once again. Spartans now up 30-0. But next Gadsden City possession, they do find some life. Luke Waldrop in the game now at quarterback connects with Clyde Curry, and Curry picks up a first down across the middle of the field. A few plays later, it's TJ Worthy punches it in for the end zone. Titans on the board, but it's too little too late. Mountain Brook puts it into Gadsden City's season. As you see, the extra point there, no good. 30-6 was the score there. A great season for Coach Ollie Smith and his guys. Took a couple on the chin early on. Found a way to win a region championship, but Mountain Brook just too strong today. They moved to 10-2 on the year. 37-6 the final score as the Spartans move on to the 3rd round.
Coach, it's a building process. You've been through this before. You know Gadsden City's had success in the past. They've been down for the last couple of years. They've been in the toughest region maybe in all of football anywhere in the South, in that Class 7A Region 3. But now they dropped to 6A. That was a blessing, I know, to Coach Ollie Smith and the Titans. But I know they wanted to go further in the playoffs, but getting to the 2nd round, winning a region championship, I think it's a nice next step in the building process at Gadsden City.
It is. It's the first step is just getting to the playoffs. And winning the region was real big for them. especially if they're able to take advantage of it with T-shirts and hats and get that stuff out in the community.
Yeah.
You remember we talked to Ali back during the media days, and we talked to him about still, even after all these years, getting the whole community behind that team. You know, it's not Litchfield and Emma Sampson. It is one group. That's why I'm so, you know, the Central Clay, that deal.
Right.
But maybe a region championship can pull everybody together and say, look, we got something special going here. And they're still playing. Like Mountain Brook's nothing to be shabby at. I actually think Mountain Brook now has a chance to get to the Super 7. I do.
I do too. And next week's going to be huge because I think one of the best games in the state in any class next week, Mountain Brook and Hartselle.
Yeah.
Boy, that is going to, you talk about marquee matchup, you talk about name brand opponents, that Hartselle Mountain Brook game is going to be phenomenal. We're going to continue now rolling through our brackets, our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets. We are up to Class 4A now, and there's your Anniston Bulldogs, number 2 team in the state. Anniston playing at Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee, having their best season in school history, but it ended tonight. Anniston wins on the road 38-20. And Andalusia, what an impressive performance by the Bulldogs as Andalusia goes into Tuscaloosa. They beat American Christian tonight 31-7. You talk about a game right up the street here from our RMC Media Center a few blocks. This will be one of the best games in the state in any class, too. Andalusia and Anniston. Number 2, Anniston, 11-0 now. Andalusia, 11-1. Their only loss coming to number 1 ranked Catholic of Montgomery. A phenomenal matchup at White Mosby Memorial Stadium in Anniston. And this one will be as good as well. Montgomery Catholic, you saw highlights earlier, beating Jacksonville 44-27. Hanley goes on the road to Bruton tonight at Bruton Municipal Stadium. They beat the T.R. Miller Tigers 27-14. What about this matchup? Hanley traveling to Montgomery to face Montgomery Catholic. They're 12-0, ranked number 1. Hanley 11-1, ranked number 4. Their only loss coming to Anniston. So you look at these games that are coming up, you got undefeated Montgomery Catholic, number 1, Anniston undefeated, number 2. Then you got Andalusia ranked number 3, their only loss to Montgomery Catholic, and Hanley number 4, their only loss to Anniston. Top 4 teams in the state, all in the South bracket next week, 2 phenomenal games. Then we come to the North. Aniana tonight wins. They beat previously unbeaten Priceville tonight. We will have highlights of this game coming from Gilbert Stadium, courtesy of Namath Pitts. Aniana beat Priceville 34-20 tonight, and it was Deschler winning over Etowah up in Tuscumbia 36-33. This is, you talk about blue bloods of high school football. Aniana and Deschler next week in Aniana at Gilbert Stadium. Aniana comes into this game now 10-1. Their only loss was to Etowah. Etowah beat them handily, so they're probably going to go in as the underdog as Deschler comes in at 12-0 into Gilbert Stadium at Aniana. And the game we just talked about, the final game in Class 4A in the North, will be Cherokee County and Randolph. Cherokee County wins tonight over West Morgan. You just saw the highlights, 42-28. Meanwhile, Randolph goes on the road and beats Dora in Walker County, 47-37. So next week it will be Cherokee County on the road for the first time in the playoffs as they travel to the city of Huntsville to take on the Randolph Raiders. Cherokee County probably going to be a big favorite again as I'm throwing some rat poison towards center. Excuse me for that, but I just think they're going to win the game as Cherokee County now in the state quarterfinals in Class 4A. And those are your Class 4A brackets. Let's talk about the Calhoun County Commission. Great supporters of not only high school football Alabama, but everything going on in this county. Things like Woodland Park, the Calhoun County Sports Hall of Fame, the horse trails at McClellan, every one of our schools in the county. Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, J.D. Hess, Lee Patterson, great folks that take care of the home folks here in Calhoun County. The Calhoun County Commission bringing you high school football Alabama after the game. More highlights, tons of highlights, more brackets as we roll on a football Friday night.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement, with physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where do you find all that?
Right here at RMC.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
We are about to take a look at some more Red Threads highlights. Red Threads powered by O-Brand. Tomorrow is the last home game for Jacksonville State. They'll be hosting Eastern Kentucky, 1 o'clock tomorrow at JSU Stadium. When you go to the game up in Jacksonville, stop by Red Threads on the square in Jacksonville. You'll love going in there. It'll be a nice, warm place to get in out of the cold tomorrow. And they have the best selection of Jack State merchandise, great atmosphere. You'll see unique items there and quality items that you won't find anywhere else pertaining to Jacksonville State, the university, and athletics. Great folks there. Also, go to their website, and they have great screen printing. They do our shirts for our Aniston Orthopedics score shirts and do a phenomenal job with that. Red Threads bringing you our highlights each and every Friday night. Speaking of highlights, both of you guys, I'm going to turn this over to you guys. Both of you guys were in Volunteer Stadium tonight down at Clay County, Central Clay County and Gulf Shores. One of the sub-stories to this, I guess, besides the fact you had Gulf Shores and Central Clay, two really good 5A teams playing, was Ronnie Royal, the former Alexandria star who a couple of years ago transferred down to Gulf Shores, returning for the first time up to East Alabama. A lot of Veterans Day things going on down there, and a great football game down there tonight, guys. Gerhard, you got the highlights.
Yeah, most certainly. And Coach, you and I both thought it going in, just considering the matchups, that this would be a really good game, and then considering the coaching battle between the two head coaches, and we'll get to that in a moment as well. But let's go out to Central Clay County. Of course, it's Veterans Day, a beautiful night for football, and a really awesome celebration of the veterans in the house. Take a look at the generations, the battles, the wars between all those who served, and of course, our hat tip to all who served, and a great job by Central Clay honoring those veterans today. And Gulf Shores did the exact same thing too, running out with their American flags. Let's get it started here in the playoff game. You won't get much better start than the very first snap of the game, a touchdown. Terry Heflin to the house right up the middle, 73 yards and gone. Extra point is good. Just like that, Central Clay County off to a 7-0 lead. But John talked about it. This is Ronnie Royal, the former Alexandria star. He was a great star then when he was younger, continuing his days there with the Dolphins. And they would get a nice heavy dose of him early on. This is the very first drive for the Dolphins. They go straight to Ronnie Royal there on the little pass in the flats. He picks up a big first down here. A little bit later on, it is quarterback Brandon Bird On the run here, takes it for himself. He's a really athletic quarterback, gets just outside the sticks, picks up yet another first down. A little bit later on, Bird to Ezel Spears. And watch Spears here. Watch the body control. He doesn't go down right here, somehow manages to stay up, picks up a few more yards, and the Dolphins are in business. They go back to the former Alexandria star right here, Ronnie Royal. Once again, you see him. One guy can't bring this guy down 9 times out of 10. He gets a big first down there. You give it right back to Royal for the touchdown. Takes it in for 6. The PAT is good, and just like that, we got a tie ball game up at 7-7. This is a great coaching battle. We talked about obviously Coach Hudspeth, who spent some time in college coaching against one of the greatest of all time, and Coach Danny Horn. Both their teams saw really good defense there, especially in the second quarter. You see a great defensive stand here by Central Clay. Nowhere to go for the running back here. And then once again on the other side, another coaching storyline, so to speak, Brian Van Gorder, the former Auburn defensive coordinator, former Iowa State head coach. He's looking for a big defensive play from his guys, and guys, he gets it. This is a pass here from Darren Harris late in the second quarter, picked off here by Braden Jackson, and Jackson goes the other way to the house. Just like that, the Dolphins back on the board on the pick 6, and that made it now a 14-7 game. There you see Ronnie Royal giving Jackson some love, and Central Clay County took a 14-7 lead to the break. It was a great game. Coach went back and forth, and you'll lay out some of the details of this one, but it's Gulf Shores that comes to Central Clay County and gets the win there, 26-21. Players, coaches, lots of storylines everywhere, and coach a really good ball game.
Yeah, I mean, if you noticed as well as I did how physical the game was.
Yeah.
I thought that Ronnie Royale, you knew he was coming back home, closer to home, because he played with the edge.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
playing with the edge. There was a lot of people there on the Central Clay side that hollered his name.
Yeah.
And he knew it too. All in the end zones, and he played well.
Right,
Just like Terry Heflin from Central Clay played extremely well. Both kids showed out tonight, and for other people around this area, the Bird kid started against Oxford in the state championship game at Spanish Fort.
Right.
And he transferred last year.
Right.
When he left Spanish Fort. So, you know, he's a player also. But the difference in the game is the kicker.
Yes.
The kicker from Gulf Shores. Every kickoff is just going to be a mile high, and you catch it right at the 1 yard line if it's not out.
Right.
And his punting average is about 42 yards.
Right.
With so much height.
Yes. Yeah.
And every time that he punted, he flipped the field.
Yep. Yeah. There was one where he had a 46-yard punt. The ball's at the 49, and literally pinned it at the 2. It wasn't caught at the 2. Literally, the ball dropped at the 2 and died.
Died right there. And we interviewed Coach during the week, and he talked about he had one of the best kickers in the state. And in this state this year, we probably have about 3 or 4 guys that got a chance to go play college football as kickers. And again, I mentioned the kicking is the difference in the game. But stat-wise, Terry Heflin from Central Clay, tonight they had 347 rush yards. And that's what Coach Horn was trying to do, was keep the ball away from Royale and Bird and all the other guys that they have. And that was it, 347 rush yards. But Terry Heflin tonight had 36 carries for 291 yards. And for the year, he has 2,230 yards was his season total on 294 carries. But here's where it's important. This is phenomenal. 1 fumble.
Yeah.
Carry the ball 294 times and fumble it 1 time.
Yep.
That's unheard of. And then Gulf Shores tonight had 258 total yards, had 161 yards rushing, 97-yard passing. And again, Ronnie Royale played a great game also. But both teams, I mean, that was probably one of the better games in the state tonight, was that game there, because it literally in the second half came down to, you know, the pick 6 you saw that Gulf Shores had. Central Clay gets an interception, runs it back down to the 10.
Yep.
So there was a lot of big plays in this game, a lot of back and forth. And again, this was a team that most people didn't think that Clay Central may not even make the playoffs. But Danny Horn and his staff did what they always do. They got them a chance, and they got there and made it to the second round. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, because I think that this is a very young football team, and they're going to be back in it here before long.
Another sub-story to this, in addition to Ronnie Royal, and that was big, but also the coaching. And if folks are not familiar with what's going on down in Gulf Shores. We could spend the next hour talking about how things are happening down in Gulf Shores with that program and Orange Beach next door. And a big part of that is what they're putting into place is facilities. They're also putting into place coaches. Mark Hudspeth helped me here, Coach. He was at Louisiana Lafayette, I believe, Mississippi State, head coach at North Alabama, head coach at Austin Peay.
Right.
Van Gorder. A lot of folks are probably thinking, wait a minute, Brian Van Gorder, SEC, Brian Van Gorder, Paul Rhodes. Paul Rhodes and Brian Van Gorder are on the staff at Gulf Shores, not as the head coaches.
Right.
And then you got Danny Horn over here on the sideline. Legendary, I think now, he's right now, what, the second, third winningest coach, total wins in Alabama history. I mean, the coaching in this game was top of the line.
Oh, without a doubt. And then I was just wanting to watch, Gulf Shores. I knew what Central Clay was going to do. I've been against those guys before. But I wanted to watch Gulf Shores. And literally, when you looked at the sidelines, you thought you was looking at a college. They had all the tents, all the TVs on both. They had their tent with their own doctor. They had their own 2 trainers. I mean, they had everything that a 7A school would have. They had everything that a college would have. And when he went into that job, he gave them and said, I need a packet. I need a package to go give these guys to entice them to come and coach here. They don't teach. They just coach, and that's what they do. They get their kids for 2.5 hours every morning.
And you saw Paul Rhodes, and working with the camera, you get a little bit of an eavesdrop, so to speak, on the way they coach, and you could just tell, just by their teaching, that they're college guys. And this is right before you saw Paul Rhodes there in the huddle. That was right before the pick 6. I mean, he basically helped dial that up. And so but the coaching part is one of it, but then you see the direct correlation to the success on the field.
The pick 6 was with 8 seconds to go. Before the half.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't have been up. It'd have been a tie. It'd have been a tie game. So, just watching, I watched them offensively, and the way they set their plays up, the way they set their personnel up is very college-like. But they're giving them the opportunity through having them for a long time during the day to be able to do that. So this is not a team that they're not done. But this is not a team that's going anywhere, guys, because they're allowing them to do what they do, and they're going to allow them to be successful.
And obviously, this is a team with a lot of resources, because Gulf Shores is such a poverty-stricken, poor community. I say that with tongue firmly in cheek here, that they're going to be here for a while. Speaking of great coaches, another great coach, we talked about Mike Robertson going into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, another great coach, a legendary coach from this part of the state, also going into the Hall of Fame, selected this week. We got some video from down there talking about Coach Steve Giddens.
Yeah, and this is something that I saw these two talking, and I said, you know what? Coach Giddens was in the news this week. Let me go ahead and get this. This is our Coach Short talking with Steve Giddens, and Giddens for a very, very long time, a staple as far as great football tradition. He was actually the first coach, I believe, that at Central Clay before Coach Horn took over. Correct me if I'm wrong.
First year.
Yeah, the very first year there. So it kind of helped, set the bridge between the two, and you've known it for a long time.
Yeah, we went, we had Steve on our radio show this past Thursday, and we all called in. I called in to him and congratulated him, on the things that he's accomplished. He's actually going in as an administrator because after his 1 year at Central Clay, he became the principal there. Then left there and went to Randolph County, and then retired and went back as a assistant coach at Randolph County. So he's from, a lot of people don't realize he's from Ashland. He played at Clay County, played with Danny Horn. So them two knew each other well. I'm so proud of Steve, and me and him go way back when he was at Lineville and I was at Heffernan. We played each other every year, so we've been friends a long time. And look, it's great that Central Clay, Danny Horn, put him up. You got to be nominated, and he got nominated. And boy, he went in real quick. And how in the world is Mike Robinson? It just now happening? It should have happened a long time ago for him. And congratulations to him too, because he's another good friend of mine, and all those guys are very deserving of what they've gotten. So it's it's just unbelievable the amount of coaches. And here's what Coach Horn and Coach Giddens said the other day on a radio show. Coach Wings is standing there on our radio show too, and he said, you know what, 2 of us that are in the Hall of Fame got coached by a guy that's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, that lineage, it's irreplaceable. And there's a lot of good football and most importantly, a lot of wins with that group.
Steve Giddens has obviously had a lot of great football teams at Lineville, and also a great basketball coach as well. Won a basketball state championship at Lineville as well. Perfect time for us to go back to our 5A bracket now. So we're talking 5A football. Let's go to our Oxford Festival of Lights 5A bracket. South Alabama, you see Gulf Shores beating Central of Clay County. They will get a rematch with Faith Academy. Faith Academy tonight beating Demopolis 36-15. So next week in the 5A quarterfinals, you got that rematch coming. That is going to be Faith Academy. They will be taking on Gulf Shores. That game will be at Gulf Shores. Gulf Shores now 11-1. Faith Academy goes to 10-2. The other game in the South next week in 5A. Another interesting game here. Charles Henderson went into Tallahassee tonight. They beat the Tigers 34-7. Number 1 ranked UMS Wright Prep. We just talked about the coach there who had Terry Curtis. We talked about him going into the Hall of Fame. He's been there in the Hall of Fame, but also becoming the state's winningest coach last week. UMS Wright beating Beauregard tonight 48-30. So next week you've got Charles Henderson at home in Troy. They'll play at Memorial Stadium on the Troy campus against number 1 ranked UMS Wright Prep. In the North next week in 5A, as we go to look at the 5A North bracket, and you're going to see a team that no one thought would be there, a team that everyone thought would be there, and a team that no one thought would be there. Pleasant Grove goes to Russellville tonight. They handle the Golden Tigers with ease 37-14. Arab tonight pulling away in the second half, beating Moody 42-20. So next week, that is correct, folks. The Arab Knights 11-1. Lee Osment and the Knights going to Pleasant Grove to take on the Spartans, number 3 ranked team in the state. A 3-7 matchup as Pleasant Grove will come in at 10-1. And another game, this is probably the best game in the state next week in all of Class 5A, and that's the game between Leeds and Ramsey. Leeds beat Scottsboro tonight 35-10. Last night, a Thursday night game at Chorba Stadium in Gunnersville, Ramsey beat Gunnersville 45-9. So next week, Leeds makes the short trip in on I-20 to Ramsey to take on the Rams. Leeds now 11-0. And we've got Ramsey at 10-2. That'll be a number 2 versus number 4 matchup in Class 5A play. Time now for our third Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. Speaking of Russellville and 5A football, listen to this, guys. Russellville senior wide receiver Randall Johnson. He's 6'3", 215. He tied the AHSAA all-time state record for most touchdown receptions in a single game in the Golden Tigers' 63-10 5A playoff win over Boaz last week. Johnson finished the night with 12 catches, 6 of those for touchdowns, 377 yards receiving. His touchdown receptions covered 64, 73, 30, 80, 21, and 20 yards. He was the first receiver in the AHSAA to accomplish the 6 touchdown reception feat since 2010. 3 other receivers share that single game record. Back in just a moment.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, or Roanoke. And don't forget about our low price guarantee.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
We are coming to you tonight live from the RMC Media Center at Parker Memorial Baptist Church in Aniston. And RMC, of course, they have all kinds of new doctors that are here in East Alabama. New doctors, you can make appointments with them now in Roanoke, in Oxford, in Aniston, in Jacksonville. RMC Health System bringing you the RMC Media Center every Friday night here at Parker Memorial Baptist Church on Quintard Avenue in Midtown Aniston. We've got 2 more brackets to go through as we go back to our Oxford Festival of Lights brackets, and that's classes 6A and 7A. Saraland tonight. We mentioned Hillcrest Tuscaloosa had some key injuries, quarterback and tailback. Saraland probably angry about all this court stuff they've had to go through. They took out their frustrations in Tuscaloosa tonight on Hillcrest. They've spent the last 2 weeks in court, but tonight they beat Hillcrest Tuscaloosa 56-31. The Gerhard-Mathangani Homewood Patriots tonight beating Pike Road, the defending 5A champions, 24-21. So that is a huge win for Homewood tonight. So now Homewood and Saraland. That game will be down at Saraland in Mobile County. Saraland 11-1. Homewood goes to 10-2. The other game in the South next week, St. Paul's beat up on Pelham tonight down in Mobile, 38-7. St. Paul's Episcopal was 5-5. They're in the quarterfinals. Never count the Saints out. Theodore, the #1 ranked team in the state, beat a very good and explosive Hueytown team tonight, 29-18. This may be the best Theodore team ever. The #1 ranked team in the state, they're undefeated. So Theodore and St. Paul's, rematch of a regular season game, an all-Mobile County final. St. Paul's gets on I-65 and runs it down to the end till it runs into I-10, and they'll go to Theodore to take on the Bobcats. As we said, St. Paul's now only 7-5. Theodore is 12-0. Bringing it into North Alabama, Mountain Brook beat Gadsden City 37-6. Great game tonight. We expect this will be a great game, and it was. Hartselle tonight at J.P. Kane Stadium in Hartselle, beating Center Point 36-27. That matchup right there, folks, phenomenal. Hartselle 12-0, Mountain Brook 10-2. The game will be at Mountain Brook next week in the 6A quarterfinals. Final game in Class 6A next week will be Muscle Shoals and Gardendale. Muscle Shoals ended kind of the Cinderella season for Parker as they come into Birmingham tonight and beat the Thundering Herd 31-6. Gardendale by almost the same score, winning tonight at Ogle Stadium in Decatur over the Red Raiders 31-7. So next week, pretty good matchup here. Got Muscle Shoals and Decatur. That game, or I should say Muscle Shoals and Gardendale. That game will be at Driver Stadium in Gardendale. Gardendale now 9-3. Muscle Shoals goes to 10-1. The quarterfinals in Class 7A, that was tonight. They're in their semifinals next week. And it was all Region 2 in South Alabama, all rematches, and the same result from the regular season. Auburn hammering Dothan tonight at Auburn, 48-20. Central Phoenix City, for the second time this year, beats Enterprise, 45-14. Next week, it will be Auburn and Central Phoenix City at Garrett Harrison Stadium in Phoenix City. Regular season, they played at Phoenix City. Phoenix City won 38-17, so Central and Auburn rematching in the South Alabama Championship game of 7A. The winner of that game goes to the Super 7 at Jordan-Hare Stadium. In the North, again, 7A Region 3, all the teams from there, all rematches. Hoover beat Hewitt-Trussville for the second time, 28-11 at Regions Park tonight. Thompson beat Vestavia Hills a lot closer this time down at Warrior Stadium in Alabaster, 21-12 the final. So a rematch between Hoover and Thompson. We've got Hoover coming in 11-1, Thompson 9-3. Two of those three losses have been to teams outside the state of Alabama. Their one loss in state was to Hoover, 9-0, just about 3 weeks ago. So next week, the North Alabama Championship game in Class 7A will be Hoover and Thompson playing at Regions Park there at Hoover. And Hoover and Thompson in the rematch in that 9-0 Hoover win for the North Alabama Championship. The winner of that game also goes to the Super 7 at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. Time now for our final Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Extra Point. 2022 marks 17 straight playoff appearances by the Piedmont Bulldogs. Last time the Bulldogs failed to earn a playoff berth was in 2005. The Bulldogs have made 27 total playoff appearances in 3 different classifications, including 5 state championships, a state runner-up, 4 semifinal finishes, 7 finishes in the state quarterfinals. Piedmont's overall playoff record as of tonight, with that win over Colbert County, now 61-21.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston. The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
Musical chairs time here. We're bringing folks in. We've had all kinds of guests everywhere. We're switching chairs out, and we couldn't do it without Crawford Office Supply. Furniture, which you'll see here in just a moment, scratch and dent furniture, supplies, janitorial, CrawfordOfficeSupply.com. Visit their showroom just off South Layton Avenue in Anniston, right behind Betty's Barbecue, a block off of Quintard Avenue. Give them a call, 237-3310. Back with more highlights tonight. Our very own Namath Pitts from High School Pick'ems. Namath, welcome in. He was on the road in Blount County tonight, seeing a couple of great games about 10 miles apart. I'm fixing to give y'all some great stuff. You get this nowhere else but here. What's the word rim lap? Where does that come from? Y'all know where rim lap comes from?
No clue.
Y'all have no idea where rim lap comes from. It's a strange name. You go right down Highway 75 between Aniana and Pinson Valley. There is a little community down there called Palmerdale. Palmerdale. Rim lap is Palmer spelled backwards.
John, there was one point when I was
So
driving
that's the
in.
home of the Southeastern Mustangs. You were there tonight. Southeastern taking on the Pisgah Eagles tonight.
And there was one point where I had to stop on the way there because there was a deer crossing the road and a cow on the other side, and you can't make this up.
That's a 4-lane down through Highway 75
No, I was
down
on
there.
back roads. I don't know.
I
what
don't know
happened
how
after
did you
there.
get on a back road?
I don't know. One time I thought I was on Cheehaw. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I looked down and there was a city down there.
Texted me, but it's foggy. I can't see.
I can't see nothing else.
I don't know. It's pretty easy to get to Rimwap, Alabama. Rimwap, home of the Southeastern Mustangs. Gerhard, they haven't been a school for very long.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, there were some Southeastern people who were upset with me that were watching over there.
Yeah, I remember
You remember
this.
this?
I remember this.
And they said, you better look out for, they thought I was dissing Southeastern, and I wasn't, but they thought I was. And they said, you better look out for Southeastern in a few years because they're going to be really good. And they're right. They had a really good season last year in the quarterfinals. Tonight, hosting a second-round game. Name was there, brought us the highlights of Southeastern and Pisgah.
Yeah, you did get that warning. I do remember that. The people were really proud of their program, and in a few short years, guys, they've now put themselves in contention year after year. This is the second straight year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs. Let's go over to Southeastern. The Mustangs. I don't know what Mustangs backwards is, but whatever the Mustangs backwards is, Pisgah and Southeastern meeting up in this one today. Guys, a really cool run out here honoring Veterans Day. We've seen this all night, these nice gestures. I like when 11-11 falls on a Friday. High school football does it perfectly. Between these two teams hooking up today, it is Pisgah getting off to a nice start offensively. Mason Holcomb using his arm here and opens up the scoring with a 41-yard touchdown completion to Luke Gilbert into the end zone. Early 7-0 lead for Pisgah. A little bit later on, Southeastern, their first offensive play, they decide to also go to the air. A nice little pitch and catch between Jackson Milliken and Jared Williams. But that drive would stall. Next Pisgah possession, it's the running game this time. Legion McCrary goes 7 yards into the end zone to increase their lead. It's now 14-0 Pisgah. Pisgah continues with the running game a little bit later on. It's Legion McCrary once again. Watch the athleticism here by the Eagles. Somehow, some way, darts out of there, 47 yards. A great pickup here to move the sticks deep into Southeastern territory. Next play, you got to give it to the guy that got you there. It's kind of a philosophy in football. Coach, you know all about this. He gets it in. They would score on the very next play on a quarterback keeper from Mason Holcomb, I should say. And then a little bit later on, you'll see Holcomb on the pass here, this time connecting to Grant Smith. 2-point conversion is good. Pisgah leads at 22-0. A little bit later on, Southeastern running back Jared Williams takes the handoff, runs it right, uses his great vision to get the cutback. And Coach, you'd love this, changes hands with the football. Nice little power run there by Southeastern. That was the score, 22-0. Southeastern would come back and make it a game here. I had some friends that were at this game, and Pisgah had a commanding lead. Southeastern came back, but Pisgah put together a nice couple touchdowns later on in the game to take the commanding win and take the game by 48-28.
I don't know how Namath got on a 2-lane road going to Rimwap. I don't even know how that's possible coming from Indiana, but he did. But we had a conversation earlier today, as a matter of fact, talking about that a lot of folks felt like Pisgah was maybe the second best team in North Alabama. We'll find out next week because Aliceville's coming to town. I think they may be the number 2 team, but Pisgah, obviously, they beat a really good team tonight. Your impressions of the Pisgah Eagles?
Pisgah's very balanced. That's something I figured out tonight. Is they have the ability to throw the ball with their quarterback, but also they have a really good run game. I mean, you saw in the highlights, they opened up with the pass game, came back to it later, and a lot of it was just running the ball right up the middle and just using their speed on the outsides. And Pisgah's got a really good team. And, again, you got Fife and 2A, North, so I don't think they're better than Fife, honestly.
Well, they beat them like 40-7 already. So Fife did beat Pisgah.
But I'm telling you, Pisgah's got a really good team, very balanced.
A side bit to that, does anybody know the lineage, the coaching lineage in the Pisgah?
I do know because the coach right now is my former teammate in Luke Pruitt.
Oh, so you do know?
I do, yeah.
Luke Pruitt?
Dale Pruitt, Jeremy
Pruitt. 2 brothers and daddy.
Yep, and we saw Coach Pruitt with Plainview several different times. Once again, with a really strong Plainview football team. But yeah, shout out to my buddy Luke Pruitt and getting his Eagles to the second round.
And how about this, guys? We don't say this very often. How about the flexing of the muscle tonight by DeKalb County teams?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you start talking about DeKalb and Jackson County Sand Mountain teams. Mm-hmm. The Sand Mountain teams tonight, the teams up on the mountain, Pisgah, Sylvania, Geraldine, Fife, all in the quarterfinals. Really impressive performances tonight. And I think I don't think there's ever been a Pisgah football team in history that has not had a Milliken on the team. You called a Milliken name.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think there's ever been one without a Milliken on the team. All right, from there, did you get, I'm assuming you went Highway 75. Did you find 75?
All I did was pull out, turn right, and 8 miles later, we're at Aniana.
Gilbert Stadium.
Was it a 2-lane or a 4-lane?
It was, I don't remember.
It was 4. I don't know how he got there. He should have come back the way he went. But anyways, Gilbert Stadium at Aniana and Priceville. Priceville came in 11-0 undefeated. But we've seen this same story over and over again. We saw it last year. Aniana comes in, maybe a substandard record a little bit. Nobody's talking about Aniana. Right. They're not state ranked. And what does Aniana do? They go all the way to the Super 7. Aniana looks like they're on that route again. They had Priceville coming in undefeated, and the Redskins knocked them out tonight.
Yeah, they certainly did. And this is an Aniana team that we talked about it all season long. They team that went to the state championship game just a year ago. I mean, this is a really good football team, a good football program, as you will see. Let's go out to Aniana. We'll talk about the program. Look at all that history right there. One of the winningest teams in the state of Alabama. Priceville in town. Aniana leads at 21-6 when we get there. More great celebrations of Veterans Day. First offensive play of the second half. It's a first down here for Mason Carty, who takes it 10 yards for Priceville, but that drive would stop. Aniana's second offensive play of the second half. Landon Abernathy connects with Tegan Hill, a 6-yard completion and a first down. A few plays later, Abernathy to the air once again, this time hitting Peyton Crittner right in the fog. 18 yards and another big first down. The Redskins keep it rolling with Abernathy, this time going back to the air. And this time he get it into the end zone via Tegan Hill, who takes it in, cuts through the secondary, and just like that, a 14-yard touchdown, PAT no good. There you see your score 27-6 Aniana. Priceville now back on offense as Jackson Prickett runs up the middle. Power of that Aniana defense a little bit later on. Priceville 4th and 3. They hand it off to Mason Carty, picks up 6 yards, move the chains, continue the drive. Jackson Prickett later in the drive to Xander Gaines, and he gains his way all the way down to the 1-yard line. 59-yard completion there. 2 penalties, though, would bring this thing all the way back. Talk about a deflation. That drive would stall. The Redskins had the early lead. They do not relinquish it. And Aniana, once again, the power of Class 4A Region 6. We talked about it with Cherokee County. We talked about it with Etowah. Aniana having a great season. And once again, knocking off a really good Priceville team. They see where their season ended. But the Redskins marching on once again.
Yeah, Aniana and Deschler next week back at Gilbert Stadium. Got to ask you the question, Namath. Fluff, we've been hearing about it. We haven't seen him.
Right.
Fluff Bothwell. What about him? A running back from Aniana.
So when I was there, he actually didn't really, show me anything, big. But I would tell you, when I say the word big, look at the guy. Look at his size. Look at his arms. He's pretty big. He's pretty jacked. And let me tell you, I walked in, I got to talk to a guy I know, and he had said that he had took the opening kickoff to the house and had already scored a touchdown before I got there. So he just decided to do all the work before I got there. I think Abernathy wanted to show off when I was there. So that's who I got to see have a big game when I was there.
Yeah, having seen some 4A teams around here, you've seen a lot of the 4A teams like, Cherokee County and Etowah, folks like Anniston, Jacksonville, Hanley, people like that. How's Aniana stack up to those folks?
Aniana, I'll be honest with you, they looked as good as any that I've seen this season. I mean, they played really good football tonight, and they were very clean. I even heard their coach on the sidelines one time say, we're playing very undisciplined. And I was just like, wow, what? That just didn't seem that way, I mean, they just played so, looked fundamentally sound when I was there. And you had the fog, it's not easy to play in something like that. But, hey, I'll tell you, that's my first time ever going to Aniana. And that stadium, man, that's one of the nicer stadiums I've been to.
Well, you can tell by the stadium is how much they put into their athletic program. The baseball field's down on the bottom, the track, they're good in everything, basketball. But the thing about when you mention Aniana, for me as a coach, I think of back in the day, you'll miss right, not always the best athletes, but well coached. The same thing with Aniana, not always the best athletes on the field. They don't scare you to death when they get off the bus, but they're so well coached. And that's what gives them a chance. And for them, they were probably thinking 2 penalties were being undisciplined.
Right.
So, yeah, that's probably why you heard that, because they are so well coached and they're just like little machines. and they always get the job done. But next week, they won't have that advantage of saying, you know, we've been there and this other team hadn't.
Right.
That other team's been there just as much as they have.
Yeah, and I was going to slide on one quick point here, that the fact that I called Aniana State Championship game last year, they have stacked with seniors. And a 4A team losing that much, you would think that you would take a step back, but here they are, back-to-back years in the quarterfinals.
And I did also want to add something that I thought about tonight, and I've seen this at not only Aniana, but at Southeastern too, is I've seen during the timeout for both teams, Southeastern and Aniana, the head coach would let the coordinator go out, and he was the one that handled the timeout while the coach stayed back. And to me, that was saying, I trust my coordinators, I trust my guys, right, to be able to go out there and to be able to handle that. And then also in Aniana, it was like a movie. I pulled in the street highways have cars parked in them. I'm like, I've never seen this in my life. It was like crazy, man.
Aniana's a special place. My mom was from Aniana, and so I spent a lot of days of my life in Aniana. This is my first football season without my mom, and she would always watch every Friday night through the years, and I always wanted to know the Aniana score. All those years, even though she was a coach's wife, we coached at a lot of places, you know, your alma mater is always she was always a Redskin to the end, so it's a special place, and it's a great town, great school. Naima, thank you so much for going over and being lost in Blount County tonight, apparently between Renalmouth and Aniana, but we appreciate that. Tell folks about high school pick'ems. What you got coming up? You got a show this week coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we will go through the Super 7. You know, even when there's only 7 games, we'll still, go on and talk about it. So we're on Monday nights through the playoffs at 6 p.m. on Facebook Live, High School Pick'ems page. You can find us, and we'll just be breaking down the games and each round and making our picks as we do every week. And, I'm looking forward to seeing how things play out the rest of the way.
High school pick'ems with Namath Pitts on all the way through the state championship games, all the way through the Super 7. He'll give you some picks of some games there, and you can participate in that as well on Facebook at High School Pick'ems. Back with more of After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Jimmy Newman from Oxford Lumber. I've kicked off many times in my football days, and that's an exciting play. When you're ready to kick off your next building or remodeling project, let us make sure you start your project off right, with the right material at the right price so you can score big and get the job done. Stop by and see our local guys with over 60 years of experience serving you. Come by any one of our 4 locations in Oxford, Talladega, Jacksonville, Roanoke, and don't forget about our low price guarantee.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You will be glad you did.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Anniston Orthopedics, they have their Saturday morning sports clinic. It's still going on Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock at the Tyler Center, the third level of the Tyler Center at Anniston, just down the street from us here at High School Football Alabama after the game from our RMC Media Center. Check out Anniston Orthopedics, sports medicine and physical therapy. Great folks there. They will take care of you. You got bumps, you got bruises, whatever you got going on. Check it out, 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings at the Tyler Center in Anniston, bringing you our Anniston Orthopedics Team of the Week score shirts throughout the 2022 football season. Time now to run through all of our final scores from the games involving teams here in East Alabama with our Oxford Lumber and Ace Hardware scoreboard. Piedmont tonight, a winner over Colbert County, 42-20. They're at home next week against the Gordo Green Wave at the Field of Champions. The Anniston Bulldogs won tonight at Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee, 38-20. Anniston at home again next week as the Andalusia Bulldogs come to town. A battle of Bulldogs. Great game at Watt Mosby Memorial Stadium in Anniston. Jacksonville fell tonight to number 1 Montgomery Catholic, 44-27. Hanley won tonight at Bruton against T.R. Miller, 27-14. Hanley and Montgomery Catholic playing Friday night in the capital city of Montgomery in the Class 4A quarterfinals. B.B. Comer, or since they Gulf Shores tonight, they won over Clay Central 26-21 to end Clay Central season at 9-3. Now we'll talk about B.B. Comer. They won on the road at Wicksburg 22-14. Next Friday night, they will be back at home at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga against Reeltown. Great game in Class 2A in the quarterfinals next week. Moody's season is over. They'll wind up 10-2. They lost tonight to Arab, 42-20 tonight as Arab, for the first time in school history, moves to the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. Another team that won in Class 4A tonight, the Cherokee County Warriors at home beat West Morgan 42-28. Cherokee County hits the road next week for the first time. They go to Huntsville to face the Randolph Raiders in the 4A quarterfinals. Cherokee County now 10-2. Coosa Christian and Spring Garden, the only game involving teams from East Alabama playing each other. Coosa Christian with a last-second field goal beat Spring Garden 31-28. Coosa Christian at home in Gadsden next week at Philip Ellen Stadium taking on the Lynn Bears. And we also had tonight Mountain Brook falling to Gadsden City. Gadsden City season ends at 7-5 with a 37-6 loss to Mountain Brook. And finally, the Etowah Blue Devils, their season ends 8-4 as they lose a valiant effort, though, to undefeated Deshler tonight in Tuscumbia, 36-33. When we come back, we're going to talk about our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Year. You get to pick it. The details are next.
Your home is a reflection of you, whether that's classic, farm style, or something unique. We at Ted's Carpet and Floor understand that, and we'll help you through the selection, finance, and installation process. We have an extensive selection of designer tiles, carpet, laminate, and hardwood. Let us help you choose the perfect granite or quartz to customize your kitchen or bathroom. We offer free in-home measurements, estimates, and design consultations. Ted's Carpet and Floor, your style, our passion.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Cash back. Plain and simple. That's what you'll get on the Noble Bank Cash Back account. No tricks, no gimmicky names, just free accounts that pay you cash back. If unlimited transactions, fraud protection, and refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide sounds like your kind of banking, visit us at noblebank.com and learn more about the Noble Cash Back account. Welcome to personal banking. Welcome to Noble Bank and Trust. Noblebank.com. Member FDIC.
Aniston Orthopedics continues to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players in the game. Aniston Orthopedics offers our Saturday morning sports injury clinic from 8 to 10 a.m. throughout the high school football season. Aniston Orthopedics also offers full-service physical therapy and occupational therapy departments. To learn more, visit our website at www.anistonortho.com. Aniston Orthopedics, located in the Tyler Center adjacent to RMC.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin, General Manager here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, and your local Chevy guy. I want to buy your vehicle today. Let me put an offer on your car and pay you right on the spot. I can get you in a new vehicle or put the cash in your hand for your vehicle. Either way, we can make you a great deal. Bring your vehicle to me here at Team 1 Chevrolet in Gadsden, home of the best people, the best service, period, and the most money for your ride.
Closing out this second round edition of After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission, back with Gerhard Mathangani, Coach Michael Short. You are going to choose our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Year. We choose the Team of the Week. You're going to choose our 11 teams of the week, one of those to be our Team of the Year, by going to High School Football Alabama on Facebook. Donahoe, Cherokee County, Central Clay County, Anniston, Sacs, Etowah, Ohatchee, Alexandria, Spring Garden, Oxford, Hopes Bluff. Those are the 11 that you can vote for. Those were our teams of the week, and one of those will be the team of the year. And the voting, we have reached over 36,000 people just since Monday. Thousands and thousands of votes being cast, as all you have to do is go to our Facebook page at High School Football Alabama and just like on the logo of the team that you want to vote for as our Ted's Carpet and Floor Team of the Year. The Ted's Cheerleaders will be here with us next Friday night to crown our Team of the Year. For Gerhard, the coach, and our entire hard-working After the Game crew, have a blessed weekend. We'll see you back here for our final After the Game of 2022 next Friday night.
School Football Alabama Scoreboard is a production of Fairfax Garden Media.